y'all yesterday, I wasn't going to do the pranking, but everybody else was going to do it. You saw LeBron James today on Twitter try the
Nick
lamest
Saban
one
retired. He's out there everywhere.
Well, LeBron said that he was going to shut it down for the year.
A friend of mine really texted me, "Is this true about Nick Saban?" I said, "Dude, April 1.
What month is it?
This guy's a doctor."
Ooh.
I said, "You need to get the eye on the ball a little closer today."
Oh gosh, yeah. Don't get fooled. Today is not the day. All right.
I've never been a prankster, practical joker. I haven't been, because it's usually at someone else's expense. It's usually to get a laugh out of their.
I find it funny.
Their sensitivity.
It's all right. But you know what they do nowadays is there's so many people out there who, whether it's a YouTube channel or a TikTok, all they do is practical jokes on people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not. I don't like that.
You could argue the whole
There is
world
there is a TikTok account out there called Pissing Off Dad, and all he does is play pranks on his dad.
Oh, that account's hilarious.
It's hilarious, but I feel bad. I feel bad for his dad.
Dad's in on it.
My dad would allow that account about an hour and a half.
He's lighting fireworks while his dad's sitting on the toilet and stuff like that. I don't think his dad is into it.
Well, I don't think
he
his
knows
dad,
it's coming.
Exactly.
Probably,
I don't think his dad knows exactly what's going to happen, but his dad knows that he's pranking him all the time for TikTok.
I know who would have had the last laugh at my house on that one. And it wouldn't have been old Brett.
Yeah, same in my
It'd have been Night of the Long Knives.
First time of our show, though, brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. They do not. They don't want you to do any practical jokes.
No fooling.
Yeah. But a lot to get to today as far as our guests are concerned. We always have Alan Bell at 3:30, CBS Sports and Gaming. There was BetMGM put out their win totals for NFL teams. The only team that was off the board was the Browns because of their situation.
Kind of need to know who the quarterback is.
Yeah, it's off the board as of now, but 31 of 32 teams, their win totals are there. We'll talk to him about that and more gaming and talk about the Final Four as well. 4 o'clock, Bruce Marshall from the Gold Sheet. We'll talk about the Final Four in general and the historical significance of what we're seeing this weekend. 4:30, bring on Drew Barrett for our final visit of the year, ESPN Radio in Arkansas. Talk the Razorbacks. Razorbacks get knocked out in the Elite Eight for the second straight year, but next year.
Future's bright.
Next year looks good, and we'll may take a little bit of a look into baseball season, a little bit into football with Drew. 5 o'clock, we talk with Brian Getzeiler from hoopscritic.com about the NBA as a whole. Get to a little bit of Grizzlies. Grizzlies looks like they're going to actually sit people tonight. But we get out a little bit early today because first pitch for Ole Miss at Kentucky baseball we will be covering. That will be at 5:30. We get out at about 5:25 with Taco Bell Crunch Time. AutoZone Listen Line, 901-360-8255. Get in the zone, AutoZone. You can also watch us live and message us on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and at sports56whbq.com. We're still on Tiger Woods watch. I saw one report, Brett, from George Wrightster III, who's the owner and creator of the Unafraid show. He's a former NFL tight end. I don't know if I trust that report that he's officially in, but Tiger Woods is in until he's out, right?
With a name like that, it sounds like George Wrightster III is about fourth-generation member at Augusta National, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. But Tiger, at this point, because his name is listed, he's in until he's out.
Yeah. I think there were 91 invitees, and it doesn't matter if he lets them know by 5 o'clock today like a standard PGA Tour stop or not, because there's not going to be anybody that fills his spot. There's not somebody out there waiting, if somebody backs out, I'm in. That's not how they do it. I think it's 91. If they had 90 pull out,
right,
then somebody's got to finish 72 holes, and they're the winner.
Right. Also, bizarre situation with Hideki Matsuyama today at the Texas Open. He hurt his neck, so he's out right now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He had to withdraw from the Texas Open, and that sort of calls into question what he's going to be able to do next week
as defending champion.
A defending champ too. So that's something to keep an eye on.
Next week will be the third Masters in 17 months because we had the fall Masters.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Our calendars are so messed up.
That fall of 2020, I can't figure out the exact day, but there was a day that year that we had NHL Stanley Cup playoffs, college football, NBA playoffs, NFL weekend,
right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one of the 3 Triple Crown horse races.
Now, yes, I remember.
And a PGA Tour stop going on that weekend.
30 for 30 coming soon.
More weekend.
I question. I know we're not through the pandemic, and we're just not. It feels like we're heading that direction, but when do we get back to, like, when is the recover time? What's the recover time on the schedules, on the NCAA with the extra year, the COVID year?
That's a good question.
This is going to be
when do we really get sports liberated from it? Maybe never. Right. Maybe never.
Also, more outgoing Tiger basketball players. This time, Lester Quinones to the draft. We'll discuss that a little bit later. Tiger football, on the other hand, headed off to Nashville to run a scrimmage at Centennial High School. We'll talk about some of the storylines heading into that. Grizzlies in action tonight at home against the best team in the NBA. But this is where I wanted to start, because we officially have hit the point in the season where the Memphis Grizzlies get to sit players going in to the playoffs to get them healthy. Steven Adams, Desmond Bain, Jaren Jackson Jr., Tyus Jones, all doubtful for tonight's game. Who would have thunk that going into the year?
Just in the preseason, if someone had told you, I'm not going to tell you what the record is, but on April Fools, and it's not an April Fool's joke, all these guys will be sitting tonight against Phoenix, and Ja will have missed 21 games.
Yeah. This will be his 21st.
You would have thought we'd be about 25 wins.
Oh, absolutely. No, there's no chance. There's no way I would have said.
And then they said, "Tell me the record that day."
If I would have
25, 28 wins.
That over under win total, the 41.5, I would have said substantially under.
Yeah, but bank the W on that.
I'm just amazed. And by the way, the whole thought of sending a message to the Suns going to the playoffs, that ain't happening tonight.
Here's the message you're sending: see you in late May.
What I need to see. Because Dylan Brooks is going to be the only guy out there, theoretically. I mean, John Morant won't be out there, Tyus, Jaren. Well, and some of these guys may end up playing, although they're doubtful. We'll see. I doubt they will, because they are doubtful. But I need to see Dylan Brooks put up about, 30 shots tonight?
They're going to have to ice his arms down at halftime tonight.
I need to see him take over. And I always talk about Jordan Clarkson being the best shot taker in the NBA. I need to see Dylan Brooks take that crown tonight.
Get it in there.
He needs to.
Do not pass the ball.
He needs to make it happen.
If you were gifted these tickets, say at the holiday season, Friday night, April 1st, Phoenix Suns, you'd think you were going to a big time matchup, wouldn't you?
No, it's bizarre. None of these matchups down the stretch of the Grizzlies season have really come to the head of importance that we thought they'd be.
There's one thing important now. It's playoffs.
Yeah, and that Warriors game, I still can't get over that didn't end up being anything. Still can't get over it.
16 wins is all that matters now, and it's not any of these the last few games.
So at this point, I think it's clear they don't really care about getting to a franchise record or tying the franchise record.
Do you care?
I think it's something.
Yeah,
but what they've done already this year is enough, in my opinion. Now you want to see some playoff success. You don't want to see them flounder out completely in the playoffs, because then you have questions in the future about what they can do in the
whole
playoffs.
rust versus rest.
But already
getting recharged.
Already to this point, though, Brett,
resetting the pitching.
And I said
we're kind of resting Adam Wainwright right now, aren't we?
I said this yesterday. What they've done this year is already a overwhelming, unmitigated, complete success. Oh, you can't say anything else.
No asterisk, no italics, no parameters around it. None. It has been. But this one, Gabe, for all the heavy criticism that the Tigers get and take, what would be a Tiger level of talk radio, media-driven freak out for the Grizzlies in the playoffs? If they got swept in the first round, 4-0, do we come in here and crush them?
Here's the thing. And there's levels.
Because sometimes the Grizzlies can be crush-proof.
A sweep to the Timberwolves or the Clippers absolutely
do they
qualify.
get the Tiger freak out, though?
I think close.
Brian?
Close.
I don't think so.
I think close.
Why do the 19 and 20-year-olds get that freak out, but the Grizzlies are so young, they're not that much older. And why do the guys getting paid?
And don't sleep on the fact, we've talked about this plenty of times.
That's not going to happen, I don't think.
But you can't sleep on the fact of expectation, preseason expectation, and what you've thought. Now, going into next season, the Grizzlies will have that expectation, so it's going to be easy to sort of draw that comparison. But this year,
you caught it. That's it.
This year, the expectation was not 54 wins. It wasn't 55 wins.
I looked today at Basketball Ref, and I'm using loose numbers. I think today the Grizzlies all-time, this includes Vancouver and just the leanest of lean years there, they are now 318 games all-time under 500 for regular season records. Well, that's simple math. They got to go 56-26 the next 10 years to get to 500. I'm gonna figure up in Memphis. It'll be better than that in Memphis.
But here's I really do think with the expectation that has been created, even going into these playoffs, I think a sweep at the hands of the Timberwolves or the Clippers does produce a level of freak out. Now, after that freak out, once it subsides, you give it a week.
But who do we freak out at?
But you get
you
get through the playoffs. You just sort of you don't freak out
just
at anything.
DBA Memphis Grizzlies.
You freak out about the fact of what this team's playoff success will look like in years to come.
Unfulfilled.
You worry about it.
Yeah.
You start to ask those questions. That narrative's set if that were to happen.
I can tell you right now that I don't think that's not going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. If it does, what mine's going to be is going to be a little bit of the Gonzaga take. Tell me when the playoffs start next year.
No,
I'm not going to sail through another 54, 55 win season and get my hopes up for splat.
But I think, and to your point, I think a week once say they got knocked out in the first round, a week goes by, we get through the playoffs, it goes back to they're ahead of schedule. There's no worry about this team.
Well,
they
that's
just
awfully
need
convenient for them, though.
But I get
true.
the point you're trying to make because I feel like that narrative would start to subside after some time.
Tigers never catch that break. I mean, it is. What have you done for me 10 minutes ago with the Tigers? This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis, the one and only Lexus dealership in town at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Give them a call at 901-334-9673 for any inquiry, service inquiry, or otherwise. Great offers on all 2022 models and always special leasing options. If you've ever thought you'd look great in a Lexus, well, this is the weekend to do it. The Lexus of Memphis will make sure that you're in one of those beautiful new vehicles of theirs. Driving luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis, the one and only Lexus dealership in Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway, and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2022 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. Online at lexusofmemphis.com, 901-334-9673. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
That's Giannis Antetokounmpo and what he did last night. And for those that did not,
It really should be Brett on FanDuel yesterday.
Yeah, you did kill it. What'd you have?
Money line Detroit. Giannis over in the Lakers Utah game. Cha-ching.
Now, Giannis Antetokounmpo, that game last night.
What would a $10 bet on that paid last night, Bryant?
A lot of money.
We need to go get to the
I will
calculator.
try.
Go to the calculator. They have an online calculator for you. But that early game on TNT was unreal. Bucks versus Nets, playoff type atmosphere, and the way the game was played was pure.
Here comes
pure
Giannis
playoff.
in the champ.
And
good
to
top
see
story.
what he did last night, it was scary. Not just the line. 44 points though, 14 rebounds, and 6 assists will do that for you, and steals and blocks and the whole 9 yards. That will make you step back and talk about Giannis and what he's done in his career. But that step back three to tie the game the way he did at the end of regulation, and then the side story of him passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in Bucks history as the leading scorer. And what are we talking about? We're talking about a 27-year-old.
And Kareem said it 50 years ago.
And
last year with the Bucks was like 74, 75.
We're talking about this now. 6-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA, 4-time All-Defense, 2-time MVP. I think he entered his name back into the MVP discussion this year. It may be too little, too late. We'll see. Finals MVP. And a champ already. What we're seeing him put together, not just is he one of the best player, if not the best player in the NBA. I think we're looking at the best foreign-born player of all time.
Knocking
in
off Dirk.
front of our eyes.
Mm-hmm. Good one. My top story, a possible preview of the Western Conference Finals tonight at FedEx Forum, but not really because it's only in laundry. It's only in clothes. It says Suns versus Grizzlies tonight, but it won't be. It'll look nothing like what a Game 7, or won't be Game 7 because Phoenix would have that. A Game 6 could look like here late May, early June. Tonight we'll have Taylor Jenkins on one side against Monty Williams, and that's about the only thing that's going to resemble what playoffs would look like. Both teams, they've wrapped up their work. Phoenix will be the 1. The Grizzlies will be the 2. Go to the game tonight. Have fun. I'll be there. Putting my lofty 9-2 record on the line tonight with this roster, this lineup for the Grizzlies.
That leads me to my
Not top story of the day.
and that's everybody out. I wanted this game to be fun. And you asked me 2 days ago, are they going to send a message? And I said even then, I don't think they will because John Morant's out. But I didn't know they were going to sit everybody. Steven Adams, Desmond Bain, Jaren Jackson Jr., Tyus Jones out. And I love how on the injury report these days, you have to list a reason because of the load management.
Disinterest.
What the NBA wants to do. Well, it says
Indifferent.
Steven Adams now has left calf soreness. Desmond Bain, left ankle soreness. Jaren Jackson, they say, returned from injury.
Going to a
management.
Book of the Month club meeting.
Tyus Jones, left hand soreness.
Yeah.
Why do we have to lie about
Crochet
it?
class.
Listen, I don't mind them sitting. You used to be able to sit and you didn't have to give an excuse, but that's what it's become. And I have an over-under now. I have an over-under set. Between DeAnthony Melton and Dylan Brooks. Over-under 38 shots taken tonight.
Way over. Blow right through it. Are you booking that or are you laying it off?
What?
Are you booking those bets or are you laying it off to the man?
I'm asking you guys.
Way
I would take an
over.
over. I would
Way
take an
over.
over. Bryant?
Almost has
38
to
and a
be.
half?
Yeah.
Over.
Yeah.
There you go.
My not top story, can you believe after 4 years of Penny, we're still talking stupid scan count? And after no crowds, we knew why there were no crowds last year because of COVID. But this year, there were only 3 games in November that were impacted by, I think, too much restrictions. Only 3 games. But by the end of those 3 games, by the end of the November, the season already had a different complexion on it. And it was poor crowds largely for the rest of the year. And it's a lot of building to fill every night. There are a lot of seats that you can't fight 72-inch high def sitting at home. But it is alarming that after 4 years of Penny, we're not even close to an impossible ticket most nights. They're very possible. There are sections you can lay down in. And I can't believe after 4 years we're still up against that.
This goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's better than Tubby.
It's double.
It's double.
I swear the university
now,
should have sent out a release. These attendance numbers reflect a 100% increase over Tubby.
I would say, and to be fair, when we're talking about scan count, I think that's what we're comparing it against in a lot of ways because that's why they had to move on from Tubby.
Now I think we compare it to Cal, Gabe.
Well, yeah, you can compare it to Cal, but I think the reason that Penny was brought in and the reason that Tubby Smith was moved on from is because of scan count. And I think everybody would agree with me there.
Mm-hmm.
But I see a lot of excuses out there as to why the scan count's down.
Yeah.
As to why it's not as high as you would think it would be. And
I'd simply say it's poor and it's got to get better.
None of the excuses have to do with underachieving at times. And people in the midweek not wanting to show up to those games in a lot of ways. And I would point to that first before you talk about...
I would too. I'd quit making excuses.
Before you talk about the other excuses. And you know where I come from with that. I mean, listen, University of Memphis alum, love the university, love what the thought was bringing Penny in to get more butts in the seats. But I've heard a lot of excuses that don't have to do with on-court performance, and I don't know if that's what we should be pointing to.
And it's usually a one-day story when the real numbers come out, and that's today. Brett Northworthy here for FanDuel. Right now, FanDuel Sportsbook is giving new customers a $150 instant bonus that's guaranteed. That's right. You'll get $150 in bonus site credit, and all you have to do is place your first bet of $5 or more. Not much bracket left. How you bet it, it's up to you. You can choose from the money line, totals, prop bets, first halves, rebounds, all that, so much more. I like North Carolina money line plus 170, and in the second game, I like Kansas minus the 4.5. Join FanDuel today with promo code CASH. Then you can place your $5 bet to score $150 in bonus site credit, guaranteed. That's promo code CASH on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Must be 21 or older. Present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions do apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Now we have the Final Four this weekend, North Carolina Duke, Villanova versus Kansas, and also there were the NFL over-under win totals for 31 of 32 teams put out by BetMGM. We bring on Alan Bell from CBS Sports to talk about those next.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes from Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm here with Kyle Storms from Big Green Egg. Kyle, I hear people all the time say how they love their Big Green Egg, but what makes a Big Green Egg so great?
Thanks, Stats. The fact that our grill is made out of the highest quality ceramic allows our customers to smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all while locking in the most amount of heat and flavor in their favorite foods.
What kind of fuel does the Big Green Egg use?
100% natural lumpwood charcoal. That's really where half our flavor comes from.
How many sizes does the Big Green Egg come in?
We have 7 different sizes and all different configurations ranging from metal stands, wood tables, and metal carts with a lifetime warranty. So we really do have a size and price point for everyone.
Where can someone go to see the entire lineup of Big Green Egg?
Garden Spas and Pool, Germantown Hardware, Hamilton's Fireplace and Grills, East Memphis Ace, and Cordova Ace Hardware.
Have you ever wondered what's inside your air ducts? Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. If you are one of many who suffers from bad allergies, especially in the Mid-South, and would like to improve the indoor air quality of your home, then Choate's Air Duct Cleaning could be a solution for you and your family. Air duct cleaning has been proven to help people with allergies and other respiratory issues by removing buildup of debris from your home's air supply. Air duct cleaning will also help eliminate dust from building up in your house. Therefore, you don't have to dust as much either. And air duct cleaning is also shown to help improve the performance of your air conditioning and heating system. Choates is the name you can trust for all your indoor air quality needs. So call Choates today at 755-4797 or visit our website at choateshvac.com to schedule a free video inspection to help you breathe a little easier. And remember, Choates, let our family serve your family.
Hi, I'm Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. Can anyone explain to me why anyone would care how I measure your roof? We've all heard about measuring your roof from outer space. Well, to be honest, that's not possible. There are aerial pictures that can be taken every 4 years that can be used to measure most buildings, but it's not from outer space. Besides, no one, and I mean no one, can tell you what's wrong with your roof or even if you need one looking at pictures that could be 4 years old. If you'd rather do business with a family-owned and operated business with a lifelong tie to Memphis that refuses to mislead or use gimmicks, give us a call. Best products, best warranties, and the best service we know how to give. Fiveash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Today is a very special day in Memphis. Today is the 20th anniversary of Central Barbecue. 20 years ago today, the first Central Barbecue opened. Craig Blondis had nothing but an idea, a dream really, to serve the best barbecue in the world. His slow-smoked Memphis-style barbecue set the standard for barbecue in Memphis. Craig, along with everyone else in the Central Barbecue family, would like to thank you, Memphis, for making his dream come true and keeping him from actually having to work for a living. This month, all 4 Central Barbecue locations will be offering food specials and Memphis-made drink specials. It's all our way of saying thanks.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Get it? Text a message, I don't know the number.
Back rolling. Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. AutoZone listener line open. 901-360-8255. Text us. Questions, comments, concerns. Get in the zone. AutoZone. You can also watch us live and message us on our socials. Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Without further ado, we bring in Alan Bell from CBS Sports on some gaming. CBSSportsline.com is where you can find his work. Alan, how are you?
What's up, big dog? You doing all right?
Man, I'm hanging in there.
Alan, all we want today from you, we want the 2 winners tomorrow, the ultimate winner Monday night. Is it a Krzyzewski love fest in one shining moment? Does it just go to a complete loop of Mike and Mickey Krzyzewski? We want baseball totals, and we want a Masters winner. That's all we want from you.
Oh, nice. Hey, you know what? Short list today. I like it. I'll tell you what.
Not like a Football Friday, is it?
Yeah. I heard that commercial. I'll tell you what, all I want is some Central Barbecue. That's
Come on.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll hook you up. Come in town. I'll hook you up.
There we go. All right, so, okay, first game. All right, Villanova, Kansas. All right, so you look at these two teams. Kansas, one of the most deep teams in the country, one of the best teams in the country. You look at Villanova, one of the not deepest teams, right? Like, I mean, they have a very thin bench. You know, they only rotate maybe 6-7 guys. They just lost their second best player, the second best scorer in Justin Moore. Now, I think Villanova is well coached enough that, you know, they can make up for a lot of that, but not all of it. I'm going to take Kansas. I'm not going to overthink it. Give me Kansas 4.5. Let's roll, right? Like, I'm just not going to overthink it.
What about that total in that ugly style that Villanova defeated Houston in?
Yeah. So, look, here's the tough part, okay? So, Kansas, you look at what they've done defensively in the second half of games in the tournament, they're really, really, really well done. I think Miami only scored, 15, 18 points, something like that? Like, they've got 2 games now where the team scored less than 20 in the second half. And then you look at Villanova, all right? If you look at Villanova's point total from their first game of the tournament to their last one in the Elite Eight, each game drops on average by about 15.6% points per game, all right? So, yeah, I'm with you. I don't think that this is an overplay at all. It's the under or nothing because, yeah, Kansas is going to D up, and Villanova probably just not going to get that many points in. But they're going to play good defense too, right? So, all right, so now going over to Duke and North Carolina.
The marquee game.
Like these two teams are so incredibly mirroring each other. They don't play a ton of defense, but they can shoot and they can score and they can put points up, right? Like I that total 151, usually that's a massive number that I wouldn't even want to touch. I'm not afraid to play that over. They're both going to give you everything that they've got, right? I'll take Duke with the 4, but again, it's tough. Right. If anybody bets North Carolina to win outright, I would never complain about it. Like which team comes out hot, right? Like that's what it's going to be. But here's my question to you. All right, Duke, North Carolina. How difficult is it going to be for them to basically play like their personal rivalry championship game, and then turn around 2 days later and play another championship?
Even
game?
the winner will want to fly home Sunday.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, right? And, like, I've kind of looked at the look-ahead numbers. So let's just assume Kansas is in. If Kansas and North Carolina play, Kansas will be about a 3.5-point favorite. Kansas and Duke play, Duke will be about a 1-point favorite. So either way, I think whatever happens, if Kansas gets in, as soon as that line is up, I'm taking Kansas. Like, I'm just going to take my chances with it. It's going to be great games. We're going to have 3 great games, through Monday. But I think Kansas gets the job done.
Now, there's that legendary story of Mike Krzyzewski at the 91 Final Four when UNLV was the team of teams, undefeated. They were going to be the first undefeated team since 76, and Tark had them rolling, and Duke catches them that day in the big upset. They were America's darling. They were the plucky underdog with all the young guys at Duke like Hurley and Grant Hill and Thomas Hill and Christian Laettner. And the story goes that Krzyzewski, in the middle of the night, they win the game, go back to the hotel in Indianapolis, and like at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, got the GAs and the managers and stuff to go wake up everyone and got them in a room, cussed them all out and said, "We didn't come here to win one game. You've done nothing. We got practice tomorrow. We got to get ready for Monday night."
Okay, so first, I love that story too. That's Bobby Knight coming out of Duke.
That is Bobby Knight coming out of him. It sure is.
Absolutely. But I wonder if Coach K is still doing that, right? Like, who knows? Like, nothing against Coach K. He's Coach K. Like, there's nothing that needs to be said.
Yeah.
But it's just, you take all of that, you take all of the emotion, and not even the physicality that's going to be in that Duke North Carolina game, but the emotional toll, right, in all of that as well. I'm also fascinated to see how does Duke come out in that game. Like, their players have done really well with the pressure of this is it for Coach K, but this is another level because you've had another week to sit and think on it. So I think that, like, you watch this game, it's either going to start Duke up 12-0 or North Carolina up 12-0, right? Like, I really think, I think it's going to be that way. But with Kansas, like, if Kansas, especially in the second half, if they've got a good lead, they can sit some guys, it's going to be tough to take them out in the title game, man. Like, again, I'm not saying they're going to blow Villanova out, but they could. And if they're fully rested and nobody's talking about them, man, it's going to be tough.
Their road to this point and this point with Justin Moore out, it has been a cakewalk for Kansas.
Yeah. It has. Like, you're exactly right. Like, it's so strange how it's kind of all laid out. And, again, like, it's one thing if you have that and then you kind of, like, mess it up. Like, mentally, it's easy to do that because, we get it, man. As players, like, you get it in your head. Like, you know what's going on. Like, you're not oblivious to it. But Kansas has just rolled. Like, they're just like, okay, man, whatever. Like, we're going to do our business. Like, that's what scares me about betting the other side against Kansas, trying to fade them, because there's such, like, basically a professional mindset that it's just tough to do that. And you have the deepest and the best overall roster, remaining of all four.
So with that Duke start, do you think they could have kind of that up 12 or down 12? You don't think it will be an overtime classic? And can you, in Vegas and at these various sites online, can you bet exact score? Could you bet overtime?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Now, look, I'm not saying it's not going to be that. I'm just saying the start, right? Like, we're talking about the first 5 minutes of the game. Like, it's probably
count me in for a $5 $89.88 overtime game, exact score.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Put it on my tab, Alan.
Hey, got you down. Yeah, I mean, you could certainly bet that. Like, you could bet winning margin. Like, Duke wins by 1-5. Carolina wins by 1-5. You can keep going, right? Like, you could bet all kinds of different ways. Also, like, betting like races, right? Like race to who's first to 10 points, who's first to 20 points. Like, I think that you're going to find ways, to make money in both of these games. Like Kansas, race to 10, race to 20, might not be a bad play either, right?
Right. Yeah.
So you just take a look at it, man. Like
clock could really strike midnight quickly on Villanova with the injured player.
It could. Yeah, it could. And like, you've had a week to sit on it, think about it, to where Kansas, like, like you guys were just saying, like Kansas sitting there saying, well, this is just what we do. Like,
right.
All right, we'll be in New Orleans. Like, it's just professional mindset, man.
If they knock down a bunch of shots early, that game could get out of hand, just based
Quickly.
on what Nova has. Now, Masters next week. Let's start with the Tiger angle of this whole thing. I've seen a whole bunch of different odds about him making the cut, him finishing top 5, top 10. I've seen the odds for him winning are plus 5,000, even though based on what he went through a year ago.
If he wins it all, this is what breaks Twitter.
It would be literally the biggest sports story we've ever seen, honestly.
Yeah,
do you like anything from on the Tiger front from a wagering perspective if he does indeed play?
Well, I'll tell you this. Let me preface by saying, look, we all like Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods, right? Like, he's like Michael Jordan. I will take any single bet that I can to fade Tiger Woods if he plays at all this, because look, man, like he hasn't played.
He's lucky to be alive.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, if we're
laboring course too.
When that news broke that day, 100%. Alan, I told our producer Drew Barrett. I know you know Drew, Alan. I told him, I said, this is going to go the wrong way. We're going to have to go on these airwaves and announce the passing of Tiger Woods.
I know. And I'll tell you this, man. I've been lucky enough to walk around Augusta, a couple practice rounds. Like, you guys are exactly right. Like, the undulations and the hills, like, it doesn't get shown on TV. That is not an easy course to just stroll around. You know what I mean? So, yeah, like, I hope that he does great.
Well, it's easy if you got a cold beer and a pimento cheese sandwich, but when you're trying to fend off 90 other players in a golf field, it's hard.
Yeah, exactly, right. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna mess with any Tiger Woods bets whatsoever.
Do you think he actually plays?
Or
no speculation there from you?
Well, I have no idea, right? Like, but you know what? I don't think so. Like, it's too much. It's too much too soon. Like, I think he wants to. I think that he'll take it all the way up to probably 48 hours or something before. But if I had to bet on if he plays or not, I'll bet not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's going for the champions dinner on Tuesday night. He's long committed to that. There's a lot of difference between eating steak and playing golf.
Well, you know what? Let me say this. And we've all been in this situation. Tuesday night, champions dinner, like, after you've had, a couple drinks, a shot or two with your friends, like, you're like, yeah, I'm playing, no doubt.
Emergency 9.
Yeah. You wake up Wednesday morning, you're like, there's no way I'm playing.
I can't move.
It's not happening. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Anybody in particular, though, before we get to these win totals in the NFL, anybody in particular you're looking at pretty hard for the Masters?
Look, it used to be fun to bet Rory constantly, right? Like, but it's been kind of tough.
He made it unfun.
Yeah, I know, right? But I think someone like him, is always a good play. But there's a lot of guys, man. Like, what I love about watching, the Masters. First, the weather has a ton to do with it, but two, you see guys that can kind of come out of nowhere, man.
Right.
Like a Jonathan Vegas, right? Like, I mean, there are guys like that who, can just their
Danny
game is
Willett.
just- yeah, like, exactly, right? Like, I mean, there's just guys who their game kind of fits and molds to the course, right? You got to be long. You certainly got to be accurate. You can't mess around, on the front nine. I mean, it's extremely difficult. But yeah, like there's nobody that I'm looking at just yet.
Right.
I want to see the end of the Valero Open and just see how some of the guys, are looking. But yeah, man, like you're going to get your favorites up top for sure. But no, nothing just quite yet.
Right. Alan, I've said before, but both your personality with us on Fridays in any forum you're in, it's infectious. And your Twitter follow, it's great sports info.
I appreciate it.
But you also get this today from you. Poor Ronald Wayne sold his 10% stake in Apple for $800. That 10% stake now would be worth a little over $278 billion. How in the hell does he sleep?
Poor Ronald Wayne, it's a tough life for old Ronnie.
Man.
All right, like, I mean, $800. Like, and back then that's probably the equivalent of like $2,100. And I get it when you need the money when
Okay,
you're young.
$2,100. I could have scraped that together in '76.
I could have scraped that together. Dude,
I had good credit then.
It's brutal, man. Like, it's brutal, and you're like the worst person to be is the don't be like me guy. That's the worst guy to be, right? And I mean,
Not
that's
$2 billion,
business-wise.
$278 billion.
Yeah, and that's only 10%. Like, I mean, it's crazy. Like, I feel horrible for that guy.
I also love your tweet about Antonio Brown yesterday. That is his thought process on not getting a surgery until he's signed by a team. That is the most backwards, ridiculous. He's betting against himself. It's ridiculous.
100%. 100%. Like, and look, you know it better than anybody. You've played, you've done all this, like, injuries, all these things, man. Like, they're tough, dude. And, like, what are you doing? You're not going to get the surgery, and then you're going to wait, and then there's a rehab process, and then, like,
That poor guy's
team-
ankle is struggling. If
dude.
his ankle really hurt, I don't know of many, and maybe I'm wrong here, but I don't think I am. I've yet to see an injury that you would need surgery for just for sports, right? If you need a surgery, you need a surgery. Just to walk around, just to live regular life.
Exactly. Like, even forget the job. Like, just get the surgery. Like, what are you doing? And like, I love that. Like, dude. And again, like, you know it better than anybody. Like D1 college football coaches, NFL coaches. They're pretty much the same people. Like, you're kind of running the same process here. What coach is sitting there going, yeah, these are great decisions. This is who I need to bring in for my locker room. Like, so just looking at like this guy is an idiot, man.
Seriously, from one AB to another, from Alan Bell to Antonio Brown, do you think it had all factored in? I think it stung Bruce Arians to watch that display.
Oh, God, yeah, absolutely. Like, and I'll say this, too. There was something there with that whole situation. Like, I don't know what has happened with the Bucs in the last couple weeks, right? Like, getting Tom Brady back, Arians is gone, something has gone on, and I think this AB situation had something to do with it. I'm not saying that it had a ton to do with it, but I think there was enough smoke there of, like, them trying to get him in the game. He doesn't understand what's going on. He quits. Like,
he strips.
Something happened. Yeah, like something. Yeah, exactly. Like, something happened, and it forced this move. Because why is Bruce Arians going to the front office? Like, it's just crazy.
Well, how surprised of a face do you think Tom Brady put on when they told him the news? Oh my gosh, no way! I don't believe you. Yeah. I feel like. Do you feel like he had a lot to do with him coming back? And I know they painted it in a different light. Do you think him coming back had a lot to do with the Bruce Arians move?
It had something to do with it, right? Like, I mean, like, none of these things are coincidences.
Right.
Like, this is way too crazy to just be coincidences. Like, he had something to do with it for sure. Now, I don't think that they have a bad relationship. But again, now we look at, I don't think that him and Belichick have a bad relationship. But there's something there. And there's something here, too, right? Like, there's something with Brady, man. And, like, we don't know what it is. But it's enough to where, like, that's a massive move of what Bruce Arians just did. That's a massive move.
Off
right?
the field, off the field and working relationship, you have to realize that those are separate for a lot of these guys too.
Yeah, 100%. You're exactly right. Like, and that's the thing. You nailed it right there. Like that there's a line there, and it's not easy to do in life, but like in sports, in D1, NFL, like you just have to do it. You get used to it, right? Like it's not normal, but you just get used to it. Yeah, like these aren't coincidences. Like there's something that happened that went on. I don't know what it is, but I would love to find out.
Right. Now, BetMGM put out some win totals. Have you gotten to go over these and see these? 31 of 32 teams, they left Cleveland off the board because of the Deshaun Watson situation.
Of course. Yeah, a little bit, right? Like I've dug into it a little bit. Like if you look local here, the Titans are seemingly always at 9.5. I like the over again. Like, you look at, what they did last year, like literally set the NFL record for most players, like signed and played in actual games, through a season because they were that decimated with injuries. So you just think that they're going to be healthier than they were last year. Not much has changed. They've added Robert Woods. And quite frankly, it's not like the division got a bunch better either, right? Like Matt Ryan's a good addition, for the Colts over Carson Wentz. But, I'm not taking the Titans from 12 wins to 6 because of Matt Ryan. You know what I mean? So, yeah, like I think over 9.5 is a good play. I mean, Mike Vrabel's literally hit the over in every single year, that he's been the head coach, right? But, you just try to find your value, man. Like, the Broncos and all that stuff, like kind of had a lead in that they were going to do something at quarterback, so their line has kind of been baked in, Vegas-wise. But, you do look at, not a Colts, a Jaguars. I think that's a strong play. I like Doug Peterson a lot. I think he's going to bring a lot of good leadership, and just Urban Meyer gone alone, I think is probably worth 2.5 wins. Like literally, like it's an NFL team.
Second year step for Trevor Lawrence, and they win it. They signed a bunch of guys. They signed a bunch of weapons for him.
Yep, absolutely. And I'll give you a stat here. For the last, I think it's like 6 years, the last 6 years in the NFL, the team that spent the most money in free agency had an additional 3 wins the next year. Like, it's a fact.
Bengals last year.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, like, just by spending the money, you're going to be better. And I like Doug Peterson. He is a great locker room guy. People in Philly loved him. The players loved him. I think Trevor Lawrence, he knows quarterbacks too, right? Like, I think it's going to be a great addition. So, yeah, I think the Jaguars are a smart play as well.
Yeah, the Philly thing. They love you till they don't love you. That tends to happen quick. But Alan, appreciate it.
Have a great weekend, Alan.
I appreciate you boys, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
A good one. Take care.
Alan Bell with us from CBS Sports. 2 great locations for barbecue in this town. It's the Commissary, the new Collierville Commissary at Houston Levy and Poplar are the original in Germantown. What a way for the weekend. What a way to enjoy basketball action all weekend. The Grizzlies tonight, Memphis-style barbecue and ribs. So delicious and authentic Memphis-style great food. And if you're craving an easier way to order, you can do it at the Commissary. Text Commissary to 33733. And that way you can start that feast with the great appetizers like the cheese plate, the nachos, invented in the early 80s at the original Commissary, the tamales, smoked chicken wings, all fantastic. Dig into the ribs or the shoulder, chopped or pulled, on a sandwich, on the plate, all the sides, beans, slaw, deviled eggs, bread as well, and you can even order it by the pound, the 6-pack, the 8-pack, or the 12-pack. The salads, don't forget about those, so good. The chicken plate, the barbecue shrimp, all so very good at the Commissary. And the challenge is to save room for dessert like that outstanding banana pudding or the best lemon icebox pie I've ever had in my life. It's at the Commissary. Walker Taylor and his staff, they've done it the right way. 901-754-5540 or online at commissarybbq.com in Collierville and Germantown. And soon we're going to get outside to those party areas at Houston Levy and Poplar. The Commissary, Memphis Staples.
We grab a break. We come back to wrap up hour number 1. On the other side, you're listening to Gabe and Stats on Sports 56, 98.5.
The all-new Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Brought to you by Action 24/7, James Gaddis Jewelers, and Acura of Memphis. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10 right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
If you have damage to your home and have your insurance carrier involved, you need a great contractor. You also need a team that has seen claims of all shapes and sizes, residential or commercial. After our inspection, we'll share our findings and give you our professional opinion. Some people say you get what you pay for. However, our opinion is free. Trust the name you can depend on, like the tens of thousands of families Brian and I have served over the past 20 years here in the Mid-South. Brian Elder Roofing. We'll measure your roof from outer space and share our team's experience for your property and claim. Repaired roofs, replacement roofs, big roofs, tiny roofs, insurance roofs, flat roofs, TPO roofs, asphalt roofs, tile roofs, slate roofs, metal roofs. If your roof needs some love, call me. 901-867-0303 for Brian Elder Roofing and Contracting.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Do you want a greener, more weed-free lawn? If you're like me, you can't stand the sight of dandelions, clover, or especially crabgrass. Hi, I'm Brandon Hawley, president of Lawn Solutions. We are your locally owned and operated weed control and fertilization company. We are also experts in disease and insect control on your lawn and landscape. Our uniformed technicians are full-time, year-round licensed and certified by the state of Tennessee. Lawn Solutions' personalized service is far more superior to that of national companies that promise but simply cannot deliver. We return phone calls, we keep appointments, and we want your business. What we will not do is bother you with endless phone calls or junk mail. Lawn Solutions will not sell you something your lawn doesn't need. If you're looking for a local lawn care company to kill your weeds and feed your grass, then Lawn Solutions is the finest. Call us at 867-5626. That's 867-5626. Or go online at lawnsolutionsinc.net. From our family to yours, we want to thank you for your business.
Yes, it's still winter. Yes, it's still cold outside. But Family Leisure wants you to start thinking towards spring and maybe even summer. So Family Leisure's pool and patio sale is happening right now. Come to Family Leisure to get started on your outdoor living space. Yes, I know it's cold and dreary outside, but this is the perfect time to think ahead. Pools are in stock and ready to go. Brand new 2022 patio furniture is hitting the floor each and every day. In-stock hot tubs are ready for delivery. You can get fantastic deals on play gyms, trampolines, grills, and outdoor kitchens. I know you are already looking forward to spring and summer, and so does Family Leisure. But if you sit on the couch too long, the best deals will be gone. So don't wait until it's too late. Stop thinking about spring and summer. Start planning for it. The pool and patio sale is in season right now. Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road. That's Witten at I-40, where family and fun all come together.
Hi, folks. Bob Burkhammer for the Sunrise Truck Corral. Going to buy a truck? Sunrise has new trucks, used trucks, big trucks, little trucks, custom trucks, factory trucks, long bed trucks, short bed trucks, regular cab trucks, extended cab trucks, crew cab trucks, 4-cylinder trucks, 6-cylinder trucks, 8-cylinder trucks, 2-wheel drive trucks, 4-wheel drive trucks, all-wheel drive trucks, GMC trucks, Chevy trucks, Ford trucks, Dodge trucks, diesel trucks, SUVs, light-duty trucks, heavy-duty trucks, trucks for rich folks, trucks for poor folks, trucks for young folks, trucks for old folks. Want a truck? Go online to the Sunrise Truck Corral, the old Hummer building in Bartlett.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
I've been moving calm, don't start no trouble with me. Trying to keep it peaceful is a struggle for me. Don't pull up at 6 a.m. to cuddle with me. You know how I like it when you loving on me.
All right, Final Four is tomorrow. North Carolina versus Duke for the first time ever. We'll carry it on these airwaves, by the way, Sports 56, 98.5 FM. We'll have that tomorrow.
It is the story. I mean, they're thinking a TV number that could rival college football playoff number.
It will. It'll be one of the. I mean, it'll probably be the best number
on TBS
in quite a while.
Not CBS.
It'll be one of. It's still, regardless.
Yeah.
I think that at least the North Carolina Duke game will be the best numbers we've seen in a long, long time. But North Carolina Duke will be the late one. Villanova versus Kansas. We need to get our picks. We need to go ahead.
I've been out there all week in FanDuel ads, and I'm what I say there, I mean here. I love North Carolina to win the game. Look, they just trounced them at Cameron. It's Krzyzewski's last game. They don't have to beat them that bad.
And we're going
to have to beat them one.
We can go spread. We're going spread. So it's 4 in each game. Kansas 4-point favorite. Duke 4-point favorite.
Carolina plus the 4. Kansas lay the 4. Now these don't count on our football picks, do they, Bryant?
No.
No.
Yeah, we
Football's
don't-
sacred.
we don't
That
need-
starts Friday in September.
Yeah, we don't need to make our records any worse than they
You
were.
are a champ. One pick.
I'm going to go with.
No, I won the regular
Yeah, I was
season
gonna say,
football picks. You won bowl.
You
yeah.
handled that. I did bowl. Even though you say you have jinxed yourself every step of the way, haven't you?
I went Dan Mullen. Look what it got me.
Dan Mullen, LeVar Ball. You went Dan Mullen and
That
LeVar
isn't
Ball.
a combo. If they had a child.
You need to stop saying I've never lost because it is.
I'll never lose this team again. Look what it got Mullen.
It's led to all your losses this year, Brett. Come on. I'm going to go.
I started 9-0 in the bowl picks. Remember that heater?
Yeah. That died quick, didn't it? I'm going to go Kansas laying the 4, and I'm going to go North Carolina plus the 4. Although
just like me.
But here's the problem is I going into the, you guys remember, and I've had to eat crow.
I want classic games.
I went into the tournament saying that Duke was going to be too distracted this whole time. It just
I didn't like their vibe.
I know, but
after Virginia Tech bounced them in ACC.
And we talked to Mark Wise yesterday. You have to sort of separate when you're talking about the ACC tournament and the NCAA tournament, although it could lead you to see
Mark Wise made that great point about both of these coaches. What are they going to wake up to Sunday? Alan Bell made that point.
know I'm taking North Carolina plus the 4, but I feel like picking against Duke in the last year of K is going to come back and bite me.
I'm going to go Duke minus 4. Love the Blue Devils. And then I have morals, so I'm going to go Villanova plus 4.5.
You have morals?
I don't bet against Jay Wright, and I don't bet against Kelvin Sampson.
Okay.
And on the women's side, I don't bet against Gino.
That holds you in pretty good stead.
Yeah.
Hey, good. By the way,
I'm not anti-Krzyzewski this weekend. Are y'all?
You're
I
love Krzyzewski. Always have, always will.
I never loved, always really liked.
That's strong terminology, anti.
It is.
I'm not anti, but I wouldn't say I'm for him.
It won't bother me if he gets beat and it ends Saturday. It won't bother me if it ends horribly Monday night. That'll be a very sad, rueful win for either Jay Wright or for Bill Self to
hate that.
To end Krzyzewski that way.
How about the Xavier Musketeers, NIT champions? Brett, I know you're ecstatic.
It was a great night for all three of them.
Shout out Jack Nungy.
Y'all dunking on me, sending me texts. It just means more last night. It means nothing. It means nothing. Less than nothing.
Did you see the celebration? No. Did you see? It was their first championship in anything since in basketball since
Xavier.
1958. Shout out the Musketeers. They needed it. Jack Nungy. Iowa bounced back. Good for him, man. That was the ugliest hook shot in America, though. Went in. They won because of it, but it is what it is. That'll do it for hour number 1. Hour number 2 is going to be busy. We start with Bruce Marshall. Then we get to Drew Barrett from ESPN Arkansas at 4:30.
Let's say you need a new car, so you go to a dealer, right? Wrong. You need to go to Mount Moriah Auto Sales. Why? Because why limit yourself to just one kind of car when you can choose from all kinds of cars, SUVs, and trucks? All different years, all different makes, all different models. Really good prices, too. Now, everyone says that about the money, but Mount Moriah Auto Sales proves it. They work hard to get you the deal you want, even financing. Plus, they have a huge full-service department to help you take care of your car. So many choices at Mount Moriah Auto Sales. They're almost unlimited, with new vehicles coming in every day. Now, these are really good cars and trucks and SUVs that you'll want to drive. And yes, low miles too. It's so easy. Just go to Mount Moriah Auto Sales, tell them what you want, but keep your eyes open because you might just find the car of your dreams. Mount Moriah Auto Sales makes it all possible. Go to MountMoriahAutoSales.com. Mount Moriah Auto Sales, right on the corner, right on the price, right on Mount Moriah.
New message.
Hey, man, it's Devin, from that time you accidentally emailed me because you thought I was a different Devin. Oh, and your email signature said confidential. If you receive this in error, please delete. That's so you. Anyway, I heard you bought a boat. When are we setting sail, Captain?
When you get a boat, you also get new friends. Make sure Progressive's one of them and get coverage today for as little as $100 a year.
Oh, and no, you did not receive this message in error.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Annual premium for basic liability policy not available in all states.
Found a great new restaurant in Horn Lake, Mississippi, Mr. Q's Sloppy Joe's on Highway 51, Horn Lake, Mississippi. Bring back those childhood memories from homemade Sloppy Joe's to mouth-watering cheeseburgers, spicy or regular fries, chicken tenders, chicken wings, jumbo hot dogs, Just a little secret, Sloppy Joe's has got that nachos cheese on it. On fire, delicious. Fried catfish that melts in your mouth. Light batter too, even homemade lemon cake. Check us out. Don't forget Q's Sloppy Joe's. Daily breakfast from 7A to 10A. Try Q's Big Breakfast. 3 homemade gigantic pancakes, 3 meats, 3 eggs for $10.75. Generous portions. Come hungry. Mr. Q's Sloppy Joe's, 5441 Highway 51. Just 20 minutes from Memphis. Can't miss it. Beautiful old brick house. Mr. Q's Sloppy Joe's, 5441 Highway 51, Horn Lake, Mississippi.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Yo, YBH.
Hour 2 is upon us on Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. Now, since I've gotten questions about it, I do have to clear up my anti-Duke slant here.
Yeah.
I'm not anti-Coach K. I'm not. It's hard for me to be. But I'd be a lot more fulfilled if he didn't win a national championship.
I understand.
Year. Now, on that note, let's bring in Bruce Marshall from the Gold Sheet.
Throw that in Bruce's end of it. We just lobbed one to you, Bruce.
Bruce, how are you?
Yeah, pretty good, man.
Bruce Marshall with us from the Gold Sheet. And Bruce, I was telling Gabe in the last segment and in the break, you just can't believe how America's underdog darling, the plucky Dukies, that they were in 91 in that national semi, because the Prince of Darkness back then was Tark. I mean, everybody hated Tark in Vegas.
That's true. And how the shoe is on the other foot. That's 31 years ago now.
And time will do it.
Yeah, it will. What's interesting is up to that point, I mean, Krzyzewski had been to a few Final Fours and had always fallen short. Embarrassingly so the year before, in 1990, in the final in Denver, when the Runnin' Rebels ran Duke off the court. And so there was a good stage of portion of Coach K's career when it was like he can't win the big one. And that all sort of turned around when they beat UNLV. Now, they still had to beat Kansas to win the national title.
And Roy Williams.
Yeah, Roy. And that that'd sort of be closing the circle in case, Duke wins and it's Kansas on the other end and, they could have a rematch 31 years on from the 1991 final. But, that did turn things around. And, I was talking with Jimmy Ott down in Baton Rouge this morning. We were talking about, all-time hyped national semifinals. And we did a show with a fellow, Matt Humans from VEASAN the other day. He thought the Duke UNLV in 91, that game, was like the most anticipated. I said, no. That wasn't, because nobody thought Duke was going to win that game, except maybe Krzyzewski and Mickey maybe thought so. But, there have been some real great semifinals. None, though, topped as far as anticipation. UCLA Houston 68. It was the rematch 7 weeks on from the Astrodome game. Everybody sort of knew that was going to happen again in the Final Four, and UCLA got its revenge. That was so hyped up, as much as the media outlets of the day could accommodate it back in 1968. It was pre-internet, it was pre-ESPN, but trust me, it was a huge, huge deal. So anyway, this little Final Four history for you. But yeah, Duke has been in this stuff before, and wouldn't it be delicious for North Carolina to spoil two big Coach K things here in like 4 weeks? That would be really sweet for the Tar Heels.
And you're talking about anticipation. I want to ask both of you this. What about this one? Where would this one be in the grand scheme of things with these teams never ever meeting in the tournament?
Bruce?
It's right up there.
It's way up there.
Yeah, I mean, because of what you're saying. I mean, by me, I mean, I think this is only maybe, I mean, UCLA Houston in 68, Houston Louisville in 83, but not even that. I think this is maybe in second place just because of the uniqueness of it. They've never met in the dance before, and they're such huge rivals. The fact that Krzyzewski at the end here of his career. So I think this one's right up there, and I think they're going to do Boffo ratings tomorrow night, maybe even more than they'll get in the final on Monday, especially if the Tar Heels win. Something tells me there might not be as many sets tuned on Monday night, but we'll see.
Bruce, I tell you, a big NCAA tournament game, it was in the Elite Eight. It was not a Final Four game, but the first time Louisville and Kentucky was it the first time ever or the first time in a long time when they met at Stokely in 83 in Knoxville after a very controversial Louisville win on Thursday night over Arkansas, and then Governor of Kentucky, John Y. Brown, famous for being married to Phyllis George, and their daughter now is the CNN news personality. You see, I think her show often is on Saturday night. So he's governor of Kentucky, and he shows up at the game. He knows politically, I got to be careful with this. And he shows up at the game with a half-red, half-blue blazer on.
Well, yeah. I mean, that was a big one in the Elite Eight. And because Kentucky had avoided Louisville for all those years, and then they sort of had to play that one. And that was a great comeback by Louisville in that game. And that set up the Houston semifinal. Yeah, and I still think as far as entertaining games go, the Houston-Louisville game in 83 in the Final Four was as entertaining as any game I've ever seen in college hoops. And that one lived up to the hype. And, of course, Valvano pulled the shocker on Monday over Houston. So for all those people who are thinking this is the title game tomorrow, there's still going to be one more on Monday night in Villanova or Kansas will be waiting. So there's some good action coming up these next few days.
It's going to be hard to even back out for whoever wins. Now, with that game, Duke 4-point favorites. North Carolina, we know what they did at the end of the year in the season finale. We know they've been playing a whole lot better with Hubert Davis. They came together there at the end of the season. Do you give North Carolina a shot in this one?
Heck yes. I mean, they're playing as good as anybody in the country right now. And, I mean, the shot of adrenaline they got for going into Cameron Indoor, when, by the way, nobody gave them a chance. Not me, not anybody else. And they went in there and thrashed them in the second half in particular. That the team really grew up then. But we had seen some signs in February because Hubert made some adjustments. We talked about this, I think, last week a bit. But I think really, the biggest thing was he figured out how to best use Brady Manick, the 6'9" transfer from Oklahoma. It's as a stretch four, and that allows the court to open up a bit more. And in turn, that helped the guards, Love and Davis, really pick up the pace from about midseason on. They have had some great games. We know Baycott can hold his own down on the blocks there. Leaky Black's a good defender. What I like is different guys have stepped up in different games throughout the tournament and through the last month of the regular season for North Carolina. So they've got no shortage of potential heroes. And also it was when Dawson Garcia, the 6'11" Marquette transfer, left the team for personal reasons late January. That ended up being a blessing for Hubert because he kept trying to shove Garcia in the rotations early in the season. It wasn't working. Certainly on defense, he was a liability. And, by the end, his last 6 games, he was 6 for 32 from the floor. He wasn't helping him on the offensive end either. And when he left, it sort of that allowed Hubert to then deploy Manick properly. And that's opened up everything since. Now, Duke, I will say that Duke's the best team left. I mean, and the best teams don't always win. You got 5 first-round picks on that team, a couple of lottery picks, maybe the first pick overall in Banchero. And I'm not even counting Roach, who maybe has played as good as anybody in the tournament, as one of those 5 first-round picks. So they're loaded with talent. But one thing Coach K has done, the last tweak of his career has worked out pretty well in the dance. He is spotting the zone a lot more
as
the tournament goes on. And he had hurt Arkansas last week. He used it late against Texas Tech and Michigan State. part of the reason he's done that.
The ultimate man-to-man guy.
Well, yeah, and he saw North Carolina pick and roll him to death in that game at Cameron Indoor on March 5. So you can sort of prevent that if you zone. But Manick is a little bit different. I mean, because he, like I said, he can just step out and shoot. And I'm not sure the zone's going to work against Carolina like it did against Arkansas last week. Having said that, I think the Heels got a shot here. And by the way, the last 6 games have all landed 154 or above. The total's about 151 here. They only have to usually go about 8 miles between campus to play. Now they're down to New Orleans this week in the Dome. But it's been an over series, so I think this one might go over as well.
I love it, Bruce. I like the over. I like Duke. I can't stand the shooting backgrounds at these domed Final Fours. All right, Kansas and Villanova, your thoughts on that?
Slow pace. Villanova really looks more like Raleigh Massimino's 85 title team than either of Jay Wright's 2 winners in 2016 and 18. They really slow the pace. They're 345 in adjusted pace in Ken Palm, so you know they like to slow it down. Justin Moore's absence is a potential issue because Villanova's not that deep to begin with. And what Jay Wright likes to do is invert the offense when he can, and he likes to post up his guards when the offense is sort of struggling, like it was last week against Houston. But it didn't work at all against Houston last week. They only shot about 29%. Moore is a guy he likes to post up. Can't do that this week with Moore out. But they're going to take care of the ball. They play defense ferociously. They played the defense from inside out. They're a little bit different with teams. They really shut down the interior. But their perimeter defense has been very good in the dance. Only 17 of 80 foes from Tripleville against them, so they're not shooting threes too well. And that's not all an accident there. I mean, Houston was harassed on most of their threes last week, and they only went 1 for 20. It sounds fluky, but, I mean, none of those shots were easy. So that can happen. Kansas can also do that. They don't allow second shots. But I don't know if Kansas has a lot of shooters besides Remy Martin. Jabi is not having a big tournament. Martin has had some big games, but the story of his career, even back to Arizona State, he does blow hot and cold. If he's not shooting from the outside, Kansas is going to have trouble scoring. And that's why I think this game is going to go under first, 133, way too high. So under be my first call. And I think Jay Wright's going to keep this thing close. He might even pull it out. I don't know that I trust Kansas laying that many points. Doesn't seem like a big number, but in a Villanova game where possessions are at a premium, that is a lot of points. So I think Villanova plus the points and a big under in the first one tomorrow.
So how much with the Duke North Carolina game, how much of the hangover factor will come into your mind when we're talking about the national championship?
Good question. I don't know. You know, listen, Kansas Villanova could end up being a similar sort of game. But though that was going first, you know, thinking back to Houston Louisville in '83. I mean, Houston couldn't, but North Carolina State played it a lot different, you know, than Louisville did in that game against Houston. So I don't know. It could be. We'll just have to see how it goes. But I mean, Kansas and Villanova are going to be going at it, and I think that's going to come down to the last couple of minutes too. So I think both games are going to be decided in the last couple of minutes tomorrow.
Hallelujah. Baseball starts on Thursday. You got any season win over and under specials for us with baseball teams? And make your prediction when we get to this weekend, the last weekend with no baseball until November 5th.
Yeah, wow, how about that? And I was actually down in Phoenix last week watching some spring training, getting into the mood of it. I might have mentioned this a bit last week. I saw the Giants once down there, and you can see just when you watch it in person, the Gabe Kapler, what he's trying to do and what they did last year. I mean, everybody's digging in. Everybody's trying to hit homers. That's why everybody in the lineup had 25 or more homers last year. Now, no Posey this year. They're going to start the season with Longoria and Wade on the injured list. But I watched. They just are different. Everybody's trying to hit a homer. I don't know that I agree with that, but it worked for 107 wins last year.
Freddie Patek couldn't play today, Bruce.
I know, and that makes me sad. I don't necessarily like what the Giants are doing, but it sort of worked. and then they're doing it a little bit different, and the pitching wasn't that bad last year. Giants are only at 85.5 on the wins. I think they're going to go over. They've got the Padres at 88.5. For the life of me, I don't see why. Tatis is out for a couple of months.
New manager in.
They have Bob Melvin in. That may help, but there's something about this team and organization that I don't trust. Gutless is the first word that comes to mind for me.
Kind of missed their window of opportunity, didn't they?
I think they did, and 88.5 looks way too high for me, so I think that might go under. The Mets, now with DeGrom out, now this is going to change their number, and we don't know how long DeGrom is going to be out. It's at least a month. It could be to the All-Star break. It might be the whole year. They were 90.5 as of this week. They ain't going to get there without DeGrom. Even with Scherzer there, I think that's a big ask for them. So the Mets might not get there. I actually think the Phillies might. 85.5 looks a little high. I actually like some of the moves the Phillies made, especially in their bullpen. They've Knievel is going to be their closer now. They've shored up what was a very problem area for them. Schwarber's going to probably be DH. That's the other thing. NL's got the DH this year. The Phils actually might contend. They contended last year. They were in the race the last week, so they might get over 85.5. And the AL, the Angels too high, 83.5. I know. Well, let's see if Trout actually plays this year. I think he will. After he was hurt last season, they did not really address their pitching. That's the problem there. And if Syndergaard doesn't come back strong, and one or two other injuries, I mean, they are down to a bare bone. You can see this staff being disintegrated by the time we're into May. 83.5, I don't think so. I think that's an under.
I might go under on whatever the Yankees win total is after yesterday, seeing what Brian Cashman had to say.
Oh, that was a bad look.
What did you think of him saying he's offended by people saying he hasn't been to the World Series since
they got
09
cheated?
Because
Poor
they
Yankees.
got cheated, and he was crying about it. What did you think about it?
I didn't like it at all. I mean, these are the Yankees. They're not supposed to make excuses.
It's the Bombers.
Yeah, I mean, he should have said, you know what, we haven't been there. We're gonna do our best to change that this year. We're disappointed because we're the Yankees. We're not supposed to be missing the World Series every year for 12, 13 years now. He said, we're going to come back this year. So I didn't like that. What Cashman said that now they have their win total isn't Yankee level like it usually is.
It's fourth in the East. Toronto, Tampa, and Boston. Boston's fourth. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And Tampa Bay 89.5, Yankees I see 91.5, Toronto 92.5. Toronto's kind of interesting here. I mean, is it all going to come together for the Blue Jays? We'll see.
We've been waiting on that for a while.
We have. Minnesota's also popped up here. Now this is getting Correa signed. That could be a boon for the Twins. They're at 81.5 now. That's a big jump from last year, but the pitching, they had a lot of injuries last year. But they were a playoff team 2 years ago. So I think it's possible that the Twins bounce back as well this year.
Now, moving into the NFL, I saw the over-under win total sort of drop yesterday. 31-32 from BetMGM, Cleveland off the board. Did you see anything there? Have you been able to review those and see what you like?
I have not, and okay. I usually hold off until at least after the draft.
Understood. And
there might be a little bit more free agent.
I want to see schedule release too.
Yeah, and the schedule and see where it goes. So there's no rush on the NFL getting the wins. We still got a few months to go, but we're now into April, and so by the end of the month we're going to have the draft too, which may or might not impact what I'm thinking about some of the totals. But there's still a lot to process there. With the NFL, right. There's been enough changes and big names moving and quarterback switches, and they're not done yet. Is Mayfield going to end up in Seattle? Is Watson actually going to be? Is the NFL going to suspend Watson in Cleveland? So that's still possibly out there. So there's a few things we'll look at as we go forward, but no shortage of NFL movement in the off season here. That's for sure.
This got to be, for my lifetime at least, one of the most active I've seen.
Yes,
it's way up there for sure.
Yeah, and you're getting some big trades, and we haven't had a lot of trades like that lately. The Wentz deal, the Wilson deal,
obviously. Could have some emanate out of the draft. It could be picks for players.
Yeah, that's right. And by the way, the one move I really think was good was Indy bringing Matt Ryan in. I think he's got something left. I think he's an upgrade from Wentz. You talk about a new lease on life for Ryan late in his career. I mean, he could actually get to a Super Bowl with this team. It wasn't going to happen with Atlanta. Again, he got there once with them.
28-3.
He's an upgrade.
It stays
he's an
with
upgrade
him.
from Wentz.
It wasn't
He's
his
an
fault.
upgrade. No.
Tell me why they weren't running the ball. I was sitting there going, why aren't you working on the clock? Bruce, with the very mention of John Y. Brown, the former governor of Kentucky, and often mentioned as a presidential candidate. We need to do this book, Bruce, and maybe get the foreword written by Michael Bloomberg, since he spent $2 billion to carry the American Samoa. The best person that ever ran for president that didn't win.
The best person that ever ran for president that didn't win?
Like
Wow,
John Glenn, Bill Bradley.
Yeah. Well,
Jeb Bush.
Kanye West. I'm just kidding.
Pat Buchanan. There you go. Okay,
Patrick
so
J. Buchanan.
Buchanan for me.
Yeah.
By the way, I have a John Y. Brown story. I'll tell you one day off the air.
I would love to hear it.
You'll get a kick
On
out
there. Tell us more about you and the goal sheet.
Thanks, Brett. Check us out online, goldsheet.com. I write about all these games. Final Four. We got a game with Fresno and Coastal Carolina coming up in about an hour. And NBA, it's all up there, goldsheet.com. We'll do this basketball thing all the way through the NBA playoffs, plus daily picks, basketball, hockey. Next week, baseball. Up there, goldsheet.com. My picks there. They're also at Vegas Insider and DonBest.com.
Good stuff, Bruce.
Appreciate you.
I voted for Pat Buchanan not once but twice, 92 and in 96, Bruce.
There you go.
Proud of it both times. Thank you, man. Have a great weekend. Good luck.
Okay. Yep.
You got it.
Bruce Marshall from the Gold Sheet. Now, he helps you with all of the different odds, the wagering, but I can help you with where to find some tickets. Did you know your butt has a favorite app? That's right, SeatGeek. I have the SeatGeek app, and I'm telling you right now.
I used to go to Monday Night Football in New Orleans, the Sugar Bowl game, to go to that Dolphins-Saints game.
It is single-handedly. I've used apps in the past before. SeatGeek's the best way to get tickets for live events, the best way. And the one thing I can really highlight, and I highlight it just about daily with you, I love the variety. Absolutely adore the variety. Always use, I get Grizz tickets constantly on there, but you can also get Tiger tickets. They got those. Beale Street Music Festival tickets, they got those. Do you want to go see a show? Do you want to see a comedian? Do you want to see an act? They have the tickets for anything that you could possibly want, and it is so beloved by butts everywhere because they've made it the highest rated ticketing app. And the best thing they do, the thing they do different than anybody else out there, SeatGeek rates every ticket from 0 to 10 to make sure you are getting a good deal. Green means good, red means bad. Very, very simple. They also, again, 0 through 10, they want you to get the best possible deal on any ticket that you get. And I'm going to give you a deal too. If you go to SeatGeek.com or the SeatGeek app, you can get $20 off your first purchase with promo code GABE56. Again, that is promo code GABE56 for $20 off your first order on SeatGeek.com or the SeatGeek app. SeatGeek, get your seat in a seat. Download the app today.
Come Grizzlies playoff time, that is a must-have at your apps. You better be ready with SeatGeek come playoff time for the Grizzlies. In 2 weeks from tomorrow or Sunday, it'll be towel-waving season downtown at FedEx Forum. I want the 2:30 Saturday afternoon
I'm
ABC game that Saturday the 16th.
Tonight won't be that, though. Tonight won't be
No.
that. I think there'll be some butts in the seats. I think SeatGeek will help some people
It
out with
will.
that. But the game itself, what's on the floor, I haven't seen the Suns injury report as of right this second. But the Grizzlies,
You know what tonight and next weekend for New Orleans and Boston could provide for someone that may not be able to have great seats come playoff time. They can go tonight with a little guy or little daughter and have a little better seats tonight, because we know come playoff time, the kind of the freebies that float around town, they're going to dry up. You're going to need SeatGeek to get in.
Yes. And Beale Street, I'm ready to see Beale Street rocking. I'm ready to see the whole
I want
thing.
it about 10
I
degrees
want the
warmer,
whole thing.
and just like today, sunshine, that Saturday, 2:30, primo, prime time, the afternoon game on ABC.
Let's go ahead and grab a break. When we come back, we get to our final visit. I'm sad it's our final visit with good old Drew. Geez.
We'll check in
It was
College
so
World
fast.
Series.
It was so fast, but we will. We'll talk with Drew Barrett from ESPN Arkansas on Razorbacks in the SEC when we come back on Sports 56 98.5.
You have opinions?
What do you hear? What do you say?
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Hi, I'm Troy 5Esh, owner of 5Esh Roofing. Sunday, today and today only. And for the first 50 callers. These are things you will never hear me say in my ads. Because if you're honest, sincere, and knowledgeable, you don't need fast-talking, high-energy, gimmick-promising advertising to get someone's attention. Speaking of that, how do you think companies can offer huge rebates and giveaways when you use their services or products? By overcharging you in the first place, that's how. 5S Roofing doesn't operate that way. It's misleading and dishonest. When I provide a customer with the best products and the best service, and I do it for a fair price, why would I need gimmicks? Best products, best warranties, and the best service possible. That's all we offer. Well, that and financing. 5S Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5S Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5S Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Time for an NCAA Final Four spotlight.
Davis, left sideline for Leaky Black. Spinning move to the basket, high off the glass. It's good. It's 9-0 Tar Heels.
North Carolina led start to finish and put an end to St. Peter's Cinderella run. They also claimed the final spot on the New Orleans dance card. Now they prepare for a first-ever tournament meeting with arch-rival Duke. Hear Westwood One's exclusive coverage of the Final Four right here.
Enjoy March matchups like never before with BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Sign up using bonus code FASTBREAK, and your first wager is risk-free up to $1,000. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 21 years of age or older and present in Tennessee to wager. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire in 7 days from issuance. For problem gambling support, call the Tennessee Red Line at 800-889-9789.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
The Family Leisure family is growing, and they want you to help them grow even more. Family Leisure is now hiring for multiple positions. They're looking for self-motivated, goal-oriented people to come and join their family. Some of the positions include sales for swimming pools, hot tubs, and patio furniture. There's sales and associates for chemicals. Parts and service department associates are needed. Service technicians, you got to have a valid driver's license, and cashiers are needed too. Family Leisure is also looking to add to their installation crews for building above-ground pools. Send your resume to Family Leisure now, 2120 Whitten Road, Memphis, Tennessee, 38133, or email memphis@familyleisure.com. You can also call 901-371-9090. So come and join the family at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun and you all come together.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Back in on Sports Time, and it's time to get to our final visit of the year with a good friend, Drew Barrett from ESPN Arkansas.
Let's see if my composure is better today than it was in June when we said goodbye to Drew when he landed his great break with ESPN Radio in Fort Smith. I promise my composure is going to be better today, Gabe and Drew, but Drew, I texted Gabe the other day.
We'll have him again. We'll see him again.
I know, but this will be the longest stretch, Drew. You're going to be liberated from texts from me between now and possibly checking in with you around College World Series time.
Well, I hope we still stay in contact and text, because I enjoy our conversations throughout the week and stuff like that. But yeah, it's going to be different not joining you on Fridays for the next few months.
We gotta stop. We don't need to get all waterworky yet. We have to talk about some stuff.
On Drew's last day, I was a mess.
All right, Arkansas. let's get into the sports then. Arkansas gets in the Elite Eight again, and early in the year with that team, there was no chance I thought that they would.
They overachieved,
and they overachieved, no question. But to see what Eric Musselman did with this team, as opposed to last year's team, after what he lost. It really was an unbelievable season for him.
Oh, definitely. Just the way that they were able to turn it around, and because it was a lot of negativity going on when the team was going through December when they were 0-3 in conference play to start January. What the team was going to go. I talked about it on my show a lot that you can have all the pieces there, you can make it look perfect. But if you can't get the puzzle pieces to fix just right, it's going to create a beautiful picture. And ultimately, Eric Musselman was able to create a very, very beautiful when it was all said and done at the end of the season. And unfortunately, I thought they had a shot, especially after beating Gonzaga on Thursday. I thought they had a shot against Duke, but it just feels like the sport want Coach K to go out on top, and that's what ultimately Arkansas just happened to run into it.
Right. Drew, I think we're having a little bit of issue with your connection right now.
I'm sorry. Let me try that.
We'll just get with Bryant real quick, and then we'll figure it out from there.
Okay.
And for the preseason expectations, I think they overachieved, but they definitely did from that 0-3. It looked like it could be was last year really real to then back to the exact spot.
It's unreal to me, and I've brought this up. The two coaches in this year's tournament and this year in general that just amazed me were Kelvin Sampson and Eric Musselman. They had no business being where they were in this tournament. They had no business being Elite Eight teams with what they had on the roster and how the injuries they had to work through. I think we got Drew back.
And Drew, Gabe makes a great point. There are a lot of similarities between Kelvin Sampson and Eric Musselman.
Oh, they definitely are. The way that he has built the program from practically, nothing. Not to say that, Mike Anderson and the guys between Nolan and Mike didn't do a decent job, but just didn't have the success that Arkansas was so used to under Nolan Richardson and before that under Eddie Sutton. The tournament success wasn't there. They were making the tournament constantly. It just never really translated into any March wins. And hopefully y'all can hear me better. I'm sorry. I'm here. I'm on Dixon Street in Fayetteville.
Hey, gotcha. Who among us hadn't been there, Drew?
Me? You're right.
We got to get Gabe. Gabe. That's the street that Baker Mayfield got arrested on by Fayetteville police.
Oh.
Yes, it is.
Wow. Tackled on.
Pretty good form tackle.
It was. Low man wins.
Always. Hands inside, Drew.
All right. So going into next year with obviously they just got another recruit with the whole McDonald's All-American game with the committee.
Got a Mizzou transfer.
How does Eric Musselman discuss these things? Because we've seen it here in Memphis when Pitt gets that big recruiting class. He hypes it up, talks about guys being possibly the best two-way players in the country. How does Eric Musselman sort of manage his expectations with those type of recruiting classes?
Well, I think the way that Muss really goes about it now, if you follow Eric Musselman in Arkansas on the Twitter machine, you saw that earlier this week when Anthony Black made his commitment and they got the 3 McDonald's All-American, he just took a simple picture with 3 McDonald's cheeseburgers right in front of him, smiling, not really saying anything in the caption, just but you got what the picture is about. And that's kind of how Musk goes about his business when he talks about these recruits. Yeah, he talks them up, talks about, how great of an addition they are to the program, but it's different. Like when you hear Penny and some of the other coaches talk about the top 20, top 50 type of guys, you think that they're the second coming of LeBron James. And Eric Musselman doesn't do that. I think that's the way it should be. Now, you should talk up, tell your fan base.
Heck yeah.
Hey, we just got
celebrate victory.
Got a great guy. Yeah, celebrate the victory, but don't oversell it. Don't come out and say, championship or bust, and that's what he hasn't done.
All right, Drew, and I guarantee you at the AutoZone text line, the next text is going to be, dang Ole Miss guy trying to pit Razorback coaches against each other. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. With Eric Musselman's success, with what we know Dave Horn's going to do between now and the 1st of July, he's either going to get to Omaha or really close to Omaha. Does it at all raise the kind of price of doing business? The rent, does it raise the rent a little bit on Pit Boss, on Sam Pittman?
I think it does, and I think there's a reason we haven't heard an exact number or really how his contract situation with old Jimmy Sexton has been going. We haven't heard anything about it since Sam actually hired Jimmy. So I feel like it is kind of raising the price, and ultimately, right now, if there's a school that has the money, let's forget about the Tysons, forget about the J.B. Hunt. Arkansas is making hand over fist right now. I mean, you had a 19,000 basketball arena that was sold out every night. Now, that doesn't mean you had 19,000 plus in the seats, but you still had that revenue. You got record high season ticket requests for football already this season, and I can guarantee the baseball game that I'm going to here in a couple hours at Baum Walker is going to have 10,000 plus. I mean, it's nothing like I've ever seen of just the excitement and just the willingness to spend money up here. So, whatever Sam asked for, I know it's early in his career, only 2 seasons in, going from 3-7 to 9-3
to beating Penn State
and beating Penn State in an Outback Bowl. So, what he's done has been absolutely incredible, and it just so happens that today, of all days, is the 10-year anniversary of the motorcycle crash.
Oh, I can't believe I didn't celebrate it.
Yeah, everything that's happened from that day to where they are now, the lowest of lows of a program can go through.
And he had it going, Drew.
10 years later, yeah.
Petrino was going to win something big, big, big there. I mean, he had it going and totally self-inflicted. And, Drew, there was no motorcycle wreck.
I believe what the papers reported.
Okay. All the newspapers said it was, didn't it?
I'll say this. If there was no motorcycle wreck, those scrapes were impressive. Those the cuts he had on his face.
How come she wasn't injured?
Yeah.
You know what, Brett? I'm not here to speculate.
Okay.
We keep the speculation. We keep the speculation at a minimum.
And the thing I was worried most about is Ole Miss guy pitting Razorback coaches against each other, and then I go to that conspiracy.
What are we looking at, though, for Musselman? You bring up money with Sam Pittman. What are we looking at for Musselman? I would imagine
market rate.
He's earned it. When some of these jobs open up, and I know we saw the one with Louisville. Obviously, we've moved on from that one. But when some of these massive jobs start to open up, I'm sure that he's a guy that will be a phone call. He would have to be a phone call. They'd have to ask about his availability.
Yeah, he's going to be that guy. And ultimately, if you're Arkansas fans, and I know that a lot of them the attitude is, us, nothing can go right for too long, and that it's eventually all going to crumble apart. But in reality, you want your coach to be
absolutely.
You want schools to call your coach.
Better
you
believe
want your coach to be the big kid on the block.
And it's good to have the money to actually pay. It's good to have the money to be able to compete with some of the other people, and it's different too.
Arkansas can. They will.
And again, like it's different here at the University of Memphis. I had to deal with coaching switches because guys end up moving on. They use it as a stepping stone. Mm-hmm. Arkansas isn't that. It could be, but Arkansas can fork up the money to be competitive.
Oh, they definitely can. And when you're playing in the SEC, and especially the SEC West in any sport, because I think maybe basketball, the East might have a little bit of an edge over the West. But when you're playing in the SEC, there really isn't stepping stone jobs out there. I mean, yeah, you've got your blue bloods out there. Maybe a Notre Dame, maybe a USC. I mean, we just saw Lincoln Riley go from OU, a future SEC member, over to USC. But this isn't a stepping stool job, and this isn't something that you're going to see Sam Pittman, Eric Musselman, Dave Van Horn ever leave for a lateral move.
Drew, and we will, because like I said, he's going to be at or near going to Omaha. But if we didn't talk between now and, say, 20th of August, what do you think the median expectation when y'all start doing W's and L's, and as soon as Dave Van Horn's Razorbacks get knocked out of the NCAA tournament, you better be ready, because there's going to be your listeners wanting those Razorback wins and losses. What do you think the neighborhood, just right now, kind of a little future cast, what do you think 2022 Razorback win-loss total or the expectation game?
Right now, I think that you can easily set a win-loss total 8.5. And
I'd bet over.
Most people, I'd have to say, most people would bet the over. And it's really going to start. You're going to know how the season's going to go with exactly.
That may be the key to getting to your total, getting to your 9 if you bet 8.5.
It really could. If you're able to open up the season with a win against Cincinnati, you're able to have that momentum. And you got a few. I think start the first 3-4 games are all at home, leading up into the A&M game at Jerry World. So you got home field advantage. You don't have to go travel. Don't really have to go anywhere. And so if you can start out 3-0 going into the A&M game and somehow pull out the A&M game, I think it wouldn't be unrealistic for people to talk 10, maybe even 11 wins. Because, I mean, let's be honest, outside of, Alabama, there's really not a guaranteed loss on the schedule for Arkansas. I mean, it's going to be a tough battle.
And that game's in Fayetteville.
With State, with Ole Miss, yeah. And you got Ole Miss in Fayetteville this year, too. So
Ole Miss hadn't won in Fayetteville since 2008.
Yeah, so you feel pretty good about it, especially with it being at home and it being a 50-50 game. Now, I think for blood pressure of both fan bases, you hope it doesn't end 52-51 like it did last year.
Or 53-52 with the Hunter Henry heave.
Yeah.
But we get a game.
Exactly.
I guarantee you, Drew, I've made one college football prediction, and I said that Tennessee and Florida both will be undefeated when they meet September 24th. Here's my second official college football prediction. When Arkansas and Ole Miss, when they play November 19th in Fayetteville, whatever time of day the game is, when TV comes on the air and the announcers do the open, good afternoon or good evening from Fayetteville, Arkansas. This afternoon, tonight, it's the Razorbacks against the Rebels. They'll be showing that silhouette shot of the lights and rain falling.
Well, I'm sure they will.
Guarantee it. It's 42 degrees and raining in Fayetteville. Guarantee it. And I won't have a dry thread on.
Because for somehow Arkansas had an amazing weather year this year, so it's going to be terrible next year.
Guaranteed.
That's exactly what's going to happen.
So
I mean, heck, Wednesday there was a tornado up here. Yesterday it snowed, and now it's 70 degrees.
Yeah,
It's weird up here north of the tunnel.
Yeah, keep it weird.
Something I'm curious about though with the team in general. I think defensively, having a guy like Barry Odom, you're always going to have some level of continuity there. Although they do need to replace some pieces, they need to do a couple things. I think your trenches on the offensive side of the ball, your head coach will embody that. He'll figure that out. The one question I have, I know you're going to have a quarterback, running back will be taken care of. Wide receiver, who can step up? Who can come along to replace the production of Traylon Burks?
Well, it's going to be hard to ask anybody to be what Burks was. I mean, we're talking about a first-round draft pick here, and even I think last season he kind of underperformed what a lot of people thought he was going to have coming off the first year, the productivity that he had. But two names to really watch out for. And the first one's not going to shock you. The second one is, because it's only really been talked about for a week, and Sam Pittman actually talked about it. We had Sam Pittman on the show on Tuesday. So the first one, Jaden Hazelwood.
Yep.
Transfer out of OU, great wide receiver, tons of skills, tons of upside. he's going to be kind of that number one. The number two guy, backup quarterback, Malik Hornsby.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, Malik Hornsby. He's going to be. We had Sam Pittman on, and I asked him. I said, the most popular player on any team is backup quarterback. So I got to ask, what's the plan? Is there more packages for him? Y'all constantly tell us he's the fastest guy on the team. Got to figure out a way to get him on the field. And he told us we've restructured practice to not only give him as many reps at quarterback for him to compete for the job, but for him to be out there at the wide receiver position with the one.
And that's a relatively big-bodied guy out there too, 6'2",
what he
almost
did
near 200 pounds.
What he did in packages against Penn State, it showed. Arkansas has got to get the ball to him more. Drew, I bet you like talking to Sam Pittman, and I'm going to compare him to someone I know you liked a lot here. His manner, his folksy, really charming manner, it's very Tommy West-esque, isn't it?
Yeah, I knew that's exactly who you were going to say. He does have that blue collar mentality, and the way that he does speak. I've thought of that many a times. That he does kind of remind me of Tommy West, and I love Tommy. I thought he did a great job in Memphis. I don't think Memphis would be anywhere without him. Not just the speech that he made exiting, but what he was able to do in those early 2000 years to get Memphis to actually some bowl games was phenomenal. And without Tommy West. Gabe probably doesn't go to Memphis. Right. The Miami Beach Bowl doesn't happen. We're talking Cotton Bowl doesn't happen. 3 straight American Athletic Conference.
The funding, the new indoor facility. Yeah. The winning in general. I mean, just truly.
Tommy did. He moved the tape. Drew?
Because if he didn't, Dr. Raines, she was going to close down football.
Oh, she hated it. She hated football. Drew, we're at the end of our visit for today, and for a little while, it won't be long, though. College World Series, I bet we check in with you, SEC Media Days, and we know we will in August. Keep up the great work, man. Thank you.
You're the man, Drew. Appreciate you.
Hey, I appreciate you guys. Hopefully I am talking to y'all in June as Arkansas just wins the Super Regional that they're hopefully hosting here in Fayetteville and headed on to Omaha.
We hope so, too. Thank you so much, Drew.
Appreciate it, Drew.
Hey, y'all take it easy.
Drew Barrett with us from ESPN Radio in Fort Smith. At Ghoul Salon and Spa, they've been turning heads since 1932 in all the locations, downtown, midtown, Overton Square, out east. Mr. Sam Ghoul, he had a dream to provide his clientele with a truly professional and unique fashion experience, and it's been realized. Sons and grandsons and valuable associates, from a small hair salon to today's juggernaut. Upscale ambiance, chic style that once was considered a Hollywood luxury, and we get it here in our area, and we get it with the best gift you can provide for anyone for any reason. Whatever holiday, whatever event, that Ghoul Salon gift card that you can get at GhoulSalonSpa.com. GhoulSalonSpa.com, a commitment to providing a unique fashion-forward experience. They've done it. 90 years of distinction, all the associates that are here to make you, feel good. Exclusive to our area, and it's the best holiday gift for any season. It's a Ghoul's gift card, and you can get it at GhoulSalonSpa.com. Mine, and it's been a continuing thing. My style, my Ghoul style, it's the Grizzlies, the year that is finished, and what's ahead for us in these playoffs, Gabe.
And mine, Bill Hardgrave, first official day as the president at the U of M, obviously following a relatively successful stay for Dr. M. David Rudd. But obviously he's going to have to deal with some turmoil there at the beginning with the basketball program. But
eyes wide open.
Very, very happy to see him get into that chair and looking forward to good things from the University of Memphis coming forward. Now we're going to go ahead and get to our final break of this hour. And when we come back, have some Tiger news to talk about. Tiger football is off to Nashville. They will have a spring practice. We'll discuss the sort of news notes there. And also, Lester Quinones out, going to the draft from the Tiger basketball program. You're listening to Sports Time with Gabe and Stats.
Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio, presented by Tito's Vodka, from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
If you have damage to your home and have your insurance carrier involved, you need a great contractor. You also need a team that has seen claims of all shapes and sizes, residential or commercial. After our inspection, we'll share our findings and give you our professional opinion. Some people say you get what you pay for. However, our opinion is free. Trust the name you can depend on, like the tens of thousands of families Brian and I have served over the past 20 years here in the Mid-South. Brian Elder Roofing. We'll measure your roof from outer space and share our team's experience for your property and claim. Repaired roofs, replacement roofs, big roofs, tiny roofs, insurance roofs, flat roofs, TPO roofs, asphalt roofs, tile roofs, slate roofs, metal roofs. If your roof needs some love, call me. 901-867-0303 for Brian Elder Roofing and Contracting.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Grapevine Liquor and Wine has the largest selection of bourbon in North Mississippi and wines from all over the world. Let Jimmy the Delta Boy help you select the perfect spirit or wine to impress. Whether you're looking for the best price or a certain flavor profile, Grapevine Liquor and Wines has it. If you want good southern treatment and the hottest prices, Grapevine Liquor and Wine, Getwell Road, South Haven.
Hotty toddy, gosh almighty, where do you get your bourbon? Flim flam, bim bam, Grapevine, by damn.
Who's ready to spring clean and save some green?
Hunter Johnston
And Colin Johnston here from DeSoto Auto Sales.
This month, we're on a mission
to help you cash in when you clean out your garage.
So stop making payments on a car that's ruining your life.
Because you could clean up in a nicer, newer car.
And possibly lower your monthly payment in the process.
It's out with the old and in with the new.
Only during our Spring Clean and Save Some Green sales event.
So dust off that old ride you hate driving.
And trade up when you bring it in today.
Because you could drive a nicer, newer car.
And possibly lower your monthly payment in the process.
Plus, our For the People credit approval process could be the fresh start you need.
So let's spring clean and save some green.
You could save up to $4,000 on a nicer, newer car, depending on the car you choose.
I'm Hunter.
And I'm Colin. And we're your dealers for the people.
See all my rides at DeSotoAutoSales.com.
That's DeSotoAutoSales.com.
Credit requires bank approval. Negative equity may be refinanced. Vehicle purchase price determines an actual discount. Offer absolutely expires on April 30th, 2022.
Golfers, swing into Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the hottest new arrivals from Cobra, featuring the new LTDX drivers, engineered for the longest total distance with extreme forgiveness. Internal weights create the power core, and hot face technology delivers faster ball speeds at every contact point. 4 drivers to fit every golfer's needs. Swing by Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, and shop us online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
So, I mentioned before we went to the break, Bill Hardgrave, first day in his tenure as the U of M president.
Look, he's coming
Dr.
from Auburn.
Rudd.
Sports will matter to him.
Yes, sports will matter to him.
And it should.
Dr. Rudd did do a good job with growth and enrollment around the university. I mean, that campus at this point, my day one to what it is now, the growth has been unreal. And obviously in sports, there was some growth there too. Obviously the black mark there with what's going on right now. And that leads me to Lester Quinones leaving for the draft. Now, Lester Quinones, this is the first one I think we really feel. Sam Onu, Earl Timberlake, and John Camden off to the transfer portal is one thing. Having a guy like Lester Quinones, 3-year starter, leave for the draft is finally sort of that come to reality moment and that terrifying moment.
We last week when Brian and I went over the list, we had Quinones gone, but we had him gone not to the draft, and I think that's where it ultimately will end up being. I think he should test the draft waters, but I think he will be playing college basketball next year somewhere else.
Yes, and what do you have, 10 days before the draft or whatever, you have to pull out of it and make sure that you're.
I wish the NFL would do that.
Yeah. I think that's fair. I
think you should go up to the draft. If you don't get drafted and you don't like it.
I agree with your sentiment there. The NFL and the NBA are completely different, though. From a
Can we do it now and have Matt Corral back in Oxford?
Being a grown-up standpoint and going into the NFL versus the NBA, it's a totally different
I don't see a role for Lester Quinones in
No,
the
not
NBA.
right now. No, and I don't know. He's a 4-year guy at college. That's what he is. And I think he could help another college team. I really do. A 3-and-D type guy.
The right place, I think he could help a lot. From what I've learned, that if he's back in college next year, he wants to go somewhere where he can get shots up.
Yeah, but he's not that off the bounce.
He's not
scoring guard.
He's got
it's not what he is.
I'm gonna go Bill Rafter here. He's got to really get the puppy set, and at times it's lumbering for him to do that.
Mm-hmm. Now I know that I sort of wonder what was going to happen with Penny Hardaway. I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen. But since LSU fired Will Wade, have you seen what the transfer portal, what their team has done?
It's cannonball run, and it's
full
11 men out, isn't it?
11 out, 2 players the NBA draft, and all of their. I think they lost all of their commits too.
Clean sweep,
or most of them.
They lost a
totally
couple.
positive.
I don't know if they've lost the whole class.
Maybe not all, but they lost a fair amount.
Shaquille O'Neal's not walking in that door.
No, it's just whenever you get the notice of allegations. People leave. People leave out and try to find different
situations.
situations.
How imposing, daunting, terrifying next year could be for the Memphis Tigers at LSU, even with circumstances around it. Are they ready for that 7-21?
I don't know. I don't know
You don't,
if they
Brian?
are.
No, I think they'll be better than that.
Yeah, I like.
They brought in some good. They've already brought in some good transfers. I think they're gonna have a really good coach.
Okay, are they ready for 11?
I like Matt McMahon too. I really do like Matt McMahon.
Are they ready for 11-17?
Now that's a closer
18,
to what it
whatever the
probably
math
will be.
is. 12 and something.
I kind
You
of
know what?
feel for Matt McMahon though, having to try to build this back up.
But he's got
He
security.
chose it.
He did. He
No,
sure
yeah,
did.
I mean, yeah, it's his. If it doesn't work out, that's his thing. Now, also, Memphis football headed off to Nashville for a weekend scrimmage in Nashville. I enjoyed the scrimmage. That sort of started with Mike Norvell. He wanted He wanted to expand that.
Did you
out.
like it?
I liked it for the thought of it. Now, traveling 3.5 hours there, 3.5 hours
To
back
practice?
is not all that fun
Practice.
for practice. But there's a lot of things to watch with this sort of first open scrimmage to people. Quarterbacks, what's that going to look like? I know Seth Hennigan's been active on Twitter
It's
lately.
always a great spring story.
And then I do want to see, with Tim Cramsey in that offense, what is he doing differently from a running perspective? Jay Ducker in there now from Northern Illinois. You still have the guys from last year. What is he going to do differently that wasn't done last year?
The Tigers have to get back to running the ball well on predictable run downs.
And that's what really and people sort of sleep on this fact. Justin Fuente, favorite coach I ever had. But what he did, he lifted the program. There's no question about it. But he didn't run the ball at this massive level. What got the team over the edge was Mike Norvell, Ryan Silverfield, finding different
You didn't know
run
where it was
schemes
coming from.
and running, having 2,000-yard rushers, having 1,500-yard rushers, having multiple 1,000-yard rushers.
Difference makers.
That's what got to the Cotton Bowl. That's the offense. And I know what Justin Fuente did, but that's it. There's a level. There are levels to these things, and running the ball was certainly what got the Tigers over the level that Justin Fuente had us at. Now, we're going to go ahead and get to hour number 3. Half hour number 3, I should say. We're going to be out early for first pitch for Ole Miss at Kentucky. That will be at 5:30. On the other side, we bring on Brian Geltzeiler from hoopscredit.com, and we get to Taco Bell Crunch now.
I often say they've set the bar for the way car business should be done at Homer Skelton Hyundai. You know how close that is. It's right there at Highway 78, Lamar Avenue, and Craft Road, the very first exit in Mississippi. I say it because they always come up with new innovations. And right now, when we've had all these shortages on new cars, Homer Skelton Hyundai is always going to come through for you. You won't pay more than the sticker price for a new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's Chris True's pledge. You'll never pay more than sticker price. Those other guys, they could charge you a whole lot more for that new car because they know there's a shortage. That never happens at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's part of the philosophy and the team that's been together for about 15 years now. You want the best of service? You want the best of products? It's the combination and the trust you'll always get from the best guys around. Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does with your favorite mixer. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand bottled, taste tested, sent to a few friends, then taste tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff. Just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com.
Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. SeatGeek is your go-to app for the best seats in the house. Concerts, festivals, comedy shows, and right in my wheelhouse, sporting events of all types. They are the highest-rated ticketing app. Why? Because there are so many satisfied customers. SeatGeek scours the web and puts tickets all in one place to make buying simple. They also rate every ticket to make sure you're getting the best deal available. Get your butt off the couch and into the best seats at the biggest events around. Transparency is the key to the best deals. That's what you get with SeatGeek, the best search engine to find the top tickets and the best bargains. And you can get $20 off your first purchase with promo code GASMAN at SeatGeek.com or on the SeatGeek app. That's promo code GASMAN for $20 off your first SeatGeek order. SeatGeek. Get your seat in a seat. Download the app today.
Mount Moriah Auto Sales. What sets them apart? Great selection, quality, high-end to low-end cars, and low mileage. Mount Moriah Auto Sales is under new management. Ask for Emmett or Steven. Check out their great selection of cars or trucks. Choose from Dodges, Jeeps, Fords, GMCs, Infinitis, Porsches, Range Rovers, Lexus, Mercedes, BMWs, even Bentleys. Mount Moriah Auto Sales also has a great service department with 12 bays for everything from oil changes to alignment to new tires. Go to MountMoriahAutoSales.com. Pick out your like new car or truck today. Mount Moriah Auto Sales, right on the corner and right on the price.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
The great Brian Geltzeiler will join us after I tell you about our title sponsor this hour. You heard the announcer, man. It's DeSoto Auto Sales, and we appreciate them so much. They're on Goodman Road at 5704 Goodman Road, and they're very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area. Go online to DeSotoAutosales.com and check out and look at all those beautiful cars and check out all those referrals from very pleased customers through all these years. Very high standards at DeSoto Auto Sales. All the cars test-driven, checked out thoroughly, bumper to bumper, head to toe. Unlimited inventory, every make, every model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll go find that special car just for you. You'll be treated like family by kind, courteous employees, laid-back atmosphere, down-home environment. But they care about your time, and they want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience. They know we live in a world today that time really matters. That's why you find the car you want, test drive that car, credit approved, paperwork completed, and you're out of there in 45 minutes or less. That matters over your lunch hour. That matters right now immediately after work, and that matters over your weekend on a Saturday. 45 minutes or less, that's a guarantee at DeSoto Auto Sales. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales. From hoopscritic.com and on Twitter at Hoops Critic, Brian Geltzeiler joins us now. Brian, we haven't talked to you in a while. Can you believe our Memphis Grizzlies right here wrapped up the 2 seed, sitting high and dry tonight against Phoenix?
Well, I can believe them. Brett, they have played fantastic basketball the entire season. And here winning 6 in a row without John Morant, 9 of the last 10. I mean, their record without Morant, what are they, 19-2? Without John Morant? Now, granted, they dodged a bullet the other night against San Antonio. They blew one down the stretch, and Keldon Johnson has a layup going in and out on them within the last seconds of that game that would have won it for San Antonio. But Memphis has been fantastic. The Grizzlies have really played unbelievable this year. And as great as Morant has been, as much of an alpha as he is for this team, the remarkable part of all this is what they've done without him. Which shows you that as much as everybody wants to go gaga over John Morant, and don't get me wrong, he's been the best point guard in the NBA this year. I don't really even think it's close. With all of that said, this is not just one great player carrying a team. This is a fantastic basketball team up and down the line.
So with that, what do you think about them come playoff time? I've heard a lot of differing opinions. Some people think they can make that championship run, that magical run. Some people think that they have to see it to believe it. Where do you stand on them as a playoff basketball team?
Oh, listen, I think they're absolutely a title contender. You don't go 54-23 in the way that they have and play as well as they have and not be a title contender. Think about this. So they've played 77 games, right? 21 of them have been without their MVP candidate. So do the math. That's 56 games that they've had Morant, but with 21 without him, that's a lot. They've played great without him. Like, you look at what this team has been and what's happened here. How can you not believe that they're not a title contender? I know, listen, it's funny because people will throw the experience factor at you with this group. This group has this unique characteristics where they lack self-awareness. And I mean that in the most positive way. Like, if they don't have the experience and they don't belong in a big spot, they don't necessarily realize that they don't belong in that big spot, or that they don't have the experience. This is a group of tough-minded young guys, and one of the guys that's been very key this year, and it's his first year there, has been Steven Adams, as a veteran that knows what it's like to go through some playoff wars. This is a team that's prepared for that. So as much as we want to kind of write this off, well, they don't have a lot of experience and that's going to matter, there's also something to be said for young, fresh legs and just a team that plays angry. They really play angry basketball.
Young and hungry. That's been the mantra.
Yep, they're young and hungry, but the hungry part is what I focus on. The young, in certain spots, the inexperience can absolutely hurt them, but I don't know that in this spot, if the inexperience even matters all that much. They are who they are, and it's a damn impressive team. Brian
Geltzeiler, our guest, founder of hoopscritic.com, and you can follow him on Twitter at BGeltzNBA, BGELTZNBA, and it's a must-follow any time of year for the NBA, and especially now getting ready to embark on the playoffs for the Grizzlies. Brian, historically, I like to look at the past because it's a great indicator of the future. A team like the Grizzlies, third year for their superstar, still very young. You did mention Steven Adams with some laps around the track of playoff experience, but by and large, a team that hadn't done it, never won a playoff series. I'm trying to find a team like that from the past that would fit, and I can't find one.
It's tough to find one. I mean, the one team I would look at here that I would draw some kind of comparison to is the 2011-2012 Oklahoma City Thunder with young Durant, young Harden, and young Westbrook bursting onto the scene and going to the finals against the Miami Heat. They hadn't necessarily been through a lot of the grizzled, hard playoff wars and found a way to get to the NBA Finals. That's the closest you're going to find to the Grizzlies. It doesn't mean that they can't do it. It doesn't mean that they're not going to be able to be good enough to do it, because they certainly are. The thing about, to go to the NBA Finals out of the West, you're going to have to beat the Phoenix Suns. That's not a secret. That's not any kind of big revelation. The Suns don't have a discernible weakness when you look at their roster. you can probably say the same thing about the Grizzlies. In a lot of ways, to me, the Grizzlies are the Suns' worst nightmare because they can do everything the Suns can do. Maybe not as good as the Suns do it, but everything the Suns can do, and they're younger and a little more athletic. That's a scary, scary matchup, I think, for Phoenix. Frankly, it's the only scary matchup in the entire conference for Phoenix. But that's how I look at it. The Grizzlies don't have a discernible weakness. And the other thing, you want to match up big on the Grizzlies. They play big naturally. They start Adams and Jaren Jackson Jr., who, by the way, is absolutely a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. Mm-hmm. He's had that kind of year for them. But if you want to play small, and they'll put Jackson at the 5, who's an awfully athletic 5, and bring in a Brandon Clark, or play a long wing like a Zaire Williams, or, my Jersey guy, Kyle Anderson, who's done a really nice job in transitioning to a bench role here with this group. They have a lot of versatility here, and I think that's a really important factor because to be able to do what you have to do against Phoenix, you're going to have to give them different looks. And assuming the Grizzlies get there, and I think they will get there, the Grizzlies are well equipped to give them all kinds of different looks. And then the other very important factor here is Dylan Brooks' return, because that's your king perimeter defender. That is your shutdown guy. Without him, there's a whole lot on Desmond Bane's shoulders. And don't get me wrong, Desmond Bane's been fantastic this year. What a super draft pick by Zach Kleiman. We can go up and down the line about the amazing personnel move Zach Kleiman's made. He's been terrific. But you don't necessarily want Bane having to guard the best perimeter player on the other team. With Dylan Brooks back, he doesn't have to.
So we have talked, in the past, and it's been a sort of run here for a while, of the Western Conference being king. Everybody wants to talk about the Western Conference having all the NBA title contenders. This year is different. Suns, Grizzlies, and obviously we've seen the Warriors do it again. So I'll put them in that category, even though I don't know about their health and what that's going to look like in a playoff series. But the Clippers aren't there. The Lakers aren't there. The Jazz have struggled. The Nuggets have had their injury issues. I don't know about Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. Has this been a down year for the Western Conference?
It's been a down year for the Western Conference. Listen, you can start at the bottom of the play-in picture to make that statement. The Lakers right now are tied with the Spurs, and the Spurs have the tiebreaker, so the Lakers are on the outside looking in at 31-45. Right now, the Knicks, with the Hawks win last night, the Knicks are a mathematical impossibility to get into the play-in. The Knicks have a 2.5-game lead over the Lakers and the Spurs, who are qualifying right now at 34-43. So you start at the bottom, and you see how weak it is. Now, granted, the records at the top of the West are better than the records at the top of the East.
Right.
So Phoenix and Memphis are the two best records in the league. But the depth of the Eastern Conference it's much more vast than the depth of the Western Conference. And the other thing is this. You look at the Western Conference, and there's some flawed teams there. Listen, I know Curry's out right now, so it's hard to really make what's happening lately a referendum on the Warriors. But you're allowed to scratch your head a little bit and be like, is Curry coming back? Can they pull it all together on the fly in the way that they would have to pull it all together? I don't really know. I like Dallas a lot. Dallas has been a tremendous defensive team this year, and they give Jason Kidd credit. They've put infrastructure in place to hide Luka Doncic defensively and maximize what he does offensively. Are they a title contender? Are they really a team that can go to the finals? Where when you're looking in the East, Miami's number one right now, who just had a huge blow-up a week ago between their best player and their head coach on the sidelines in public for everybody to see. Right. Yes, the Bucks are the defending, but still are number one in the conference, by the way. The Bucks are the defending champions. The Boston Celtics have had a record-setting defense since January 1st. And, oh, by the way, the Philadelphia 76ers, they still have Joel Embiid and James Harden on that team and can certainly, even though they've just lost 3 in a row, they certainly can go and make noise and be very difficult in the playoffs. And we're not even mentioning the team sitting at the 8th seed right now, the Brooklyn Nets, with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. And Shams Charania of The Athletic had a report today that they're counting on Ben Simmons being back for the playoffs. We'll see how effective Simmons is. But they need Simmons badly there to at least be some kind of contributor on the defensive end of the floor and on the glass. My point being is that you look at the amount of teams that really could make a run to the finals in the East, it's much more significant than the West. The West has become top-heavy and light after the top teams. The East is much, much deeper.
And Brian, whether look, they die hard. Templates, stereotypes. They sometimes they die hard. It's like down here in college basketball in the SEC. If Kentucky's not very good, the image is the SEC's not very good. You let Alabama football fall off, and the template around the country will be the SEC's not that good. The West for so long, we kind of rode San Antonio and the Lakers, and for now. Those
and then
brands
the Warriors, Brett.
And then the Warriors.
The Warriors.
That's right.
Yeah.
And those brands are a little bit to a lot injured.
Correct. And that's why you look at it. But by the same token, the Suns have taken that mantle. Yep. And keep this in mind. The Suns in the bubble, okay, people were complaining the Suns should have never been allowed in the bubble.
That's where they got it going.
Games. That's where they got it going. They won 8 games in the bubble. Last year with a 2 seed. Took down the Anthony Davis, LeBron James Lakers, the defending champions in the first round of the playoffs, made the finals and lost the finals because they didn't have an answer for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Well, who's got an answer for Giannis, right? Now they've come out this year with something to prove in a big way. And listen, injuries and COVID stuff, it's hit everybody in the league, including the Suns. The Suns they're not 62-14 because we stayed healthy and no one else did. They've been just got Chris Paul back. There was meaningful time without Booker, meaningful time without Ayton. These are the three of the 4 most important players when you include Bridges in the mix. I mean, Phoenix has become that level juggernaut in the conference, certainly in the regular season. And Phoenix, frankly, they've won 9 in a row here. If they win out, they're going to end up 68-14 and have one of the top 10 best records in the history of the sport for a regular season record. I mean, that's the types of things the Suns are doing here. Now, again, can it carry over into the playoffs? It did last year, and they got themselves to a final. No reason to believe that it can't this year. But I think the fun part for you guys there is that the one team in that conference that would have a legit chance to take them down is the team that's in your city.
Yeah, and Monty Williams, full lock for the coach of the year, and he has been fantastic. Now,
is he though? Is he a lock for the coach of the year?
I think so.
Because I'm going to say this. Okay, it's funny you say that.
Should he be? Should he be? Maybe not. I mean, there's probably Taylor Jenkins you could throw in there, but I think
that's the guy I'm throwing in.
Yeah, and then we throw but narrative seems set this time of year for those type of awards. MVP may be the exception this year, but coach of the year seems just about locked up for Monty Williams.
It's funny. Isaiah Thomas on NBA TV made a statement last week. Take all those awards, wrap them up, and ship them to Phoenix. Booker MVP. Monty Williams Coach of the Year. Mikal Bridges Defensive Player of the Year. Cam Johnson Most Improved. Package them all up, send them to Phoenix. And you certainly could do that. Listen, I think Monty's done a fantastic job. I think he's likely to win the award. I don't have a vote. If I had a vote, I'd vote for Taylor Jenkins. And I'm not just saying that because I'm on the radio in Memphis right now.
I tend to agree with you because you talk about preseason expectations and going over those preseason expectations.
And without Ja, I think that's the biggest bullet point, and it's on full display tonight. I mean, it's not even the Grizzlies B team going out there tonight; it's the C team.
Well, it's interesting, correct, and he's done a fantastic job in terms of keeping this team together without Ja. But I also think if we're gonna make it without Ja, the other guy that we got to give a ton of credit to is Zach Kleiman, because one of the reasons they're as good as they are without Ja,
no doubt,
is, and no one says this, is because how good Tyus Jones is playing. Okay, He is really, really good there. He does. And the thing I love about him is he doesn't step in the game and decide that he's going to try to do a Ja impression. He plays within himself. He gets guys the ball. Bane's been allowed to do what Bane does and shine in Ja's absence because Tyus Jones allows him to. And again, it's just another great Kleinman move. It really is. You look up and down this roster, and there's so many of them. He traded up in the draft last year and collected a pick swap with New Orleans that may end up cashing in big time this year. And to get Zaire Williams, and people were scratching their head. You took on money to trade up to get Zaire Williams. Well, Zaire Williams has been good for Memphis this year. He's a long 6'8" wing that helps a ton. For the sole exception of the Justice Winslow trade, every move Zach Kleiman's made has turned to gold.
And even that one, I mean, you got to give him the opportunity to fail once and take that try. And I'm glad you bring up Tyus Jones though too, because the assist to turnover, if you just go look at stats, 7.1 to 1. The closest behind him is Jordan McLaughlin with the Timberwolves at 4.9 to 1. He has been absolutely ridiculous and sort of on a tear with the as far as assist to turnover.
Swiss Army knife award goes to
this stretch without Ja.
Yeah.
It's amazing. He doesn't turn the ball over. And for a guy that handles the ball as much as he is, it's incredible. It really is. And I give him a ton of credit. Everybody thought he was too small to succeed in the league, but I said it before, he plays within himself.
Yep.
And it's so important. The other guy that you give credit to, and he's bounced around the league a ton, he's found a home here as a very effective bench player, is DeAnthony Melton. DeAnthony Melton's been great. Shoots the hell out of the ball, man. This guy's been fantastic for them. So, again, you're finding stuff in certain spots that you didn't figure. And listen, Melton's 37.5% from three this year. Tyus Jones, 38% from three this year. Bain, how about Bain? 43% from three. Desmond Bain dropped in the draft because his arms were too short. So they thought he couldn't defend. Guy defends pretty damn good. Shooting 43% from three, 89% from the free throw line, and is an above average defender. I mean, but that's what the Grizzlies have done. They have found value under every rock. They have found a way to do it and built a tremendous, tremendous team here from the ground up. And you look, a lot of teams do it through free agency. This has been done through the draft and some really shrewd, smart trades.
He is Brian Geltzeiler at BGeltzNBA on Twitter, founder of hoopscritic.com. Brian, appreciate it, man.
Tour
Thanks
de
for
force.
joining us. Let's
Always
do it again
is.
soon.
Thank you, Brian.
It's always my pleasure, guys. I hope to talk to you both again soon. Enjoy this game tonight. It'll be a lot of fun.
You got it. Brian Geltzeiler with us from hoopscritic.com, on Twitter at BGeltzNBA. Brett Norsworthy here for FanDuel right now. FanDuel Sportsbook, they're giving new customers a $150 instant bonus. It's guaranteed. That's right. You'll get $150 in bonus site credit, and all you have to do is place your first bet of $5 or more. How you bet the bracket, that's up to you. You can choose money line, prop bets, totals, so much more. I like the Kansas-Villanova over 134 and the North Carolina-Duke over 151 to go to the championship game on Monday night. Join FanDuel right now with promo code CASH. Then you can place your $5 bet to score $150 in bonus site credit. That's guaranteed. That's promo code CASH on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions do apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Let's do it. Let's get to crunch time.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is Geraldo. It is crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins. It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Brett, what I learned today is that the Lakers are not closing the book. They're not trying to close the book on this season, even though they are at 31-45 and they're outside of the play-in right this second. But you look at their injury report, they just released it. LeBron James and AD both questionable. That's a quick upgrade. Chances are they're going to play tonight. And thank God, because last night on national TV, seeing Wenyen Gabriel get over 20 minutes, I just, you know what, man, I can't do it.
You're making up names.
That's a real name. That's a real name, I promise you.
You're showing
Played at Kentucky.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Wenyen
No,
Gabriel.
it's SEC guy.
Listen, look. I'm nothing against Wenyen Gabriel.
Yeah,
he should not be getting 20-plus minutes in an NBA
Lakers.
basketball game right now, especially on national TV.
I learned it's always a one-day story on scan count, and it comes and goes. But now 4 years of Penny, we know why in year 3 it was rough because of COVID. But coming out of COVID, I can't believe we're still scuffling with scan count and with crowds. Maybe next year and some calm in the program after all this. we'll get back to not having to worry about scan count, and that contract definitely needs to be renegotiated.
Yeah, what I could have done without couple of things, one out of the NFL, one out of the MLB. DK Metcalf's a liar, and I know that you're close with you know DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
You got to
I know
watch
his
him
dad,
play
too.
ball. He's a liar, though. He was on, I guess, with Kevin Garnett rather on Showtime Basketball, and had an interview with Kevin Garnett. And he says he basically doesn't eat. He eats one meal a day, drinks one coffee, and eats 3 to 4 bags of candy, is what he said. You're telling me you get that physique by doing that? DK, listen.
That may work now.
Listen, I like DK. DK's a hell of a wide receiver. Really, really good. But you're lying. You eat better than that.
Yeah, I hope he does.
And also what
the candy can't be good for him.
And also what I could have done without.
And that darn coffee.
Yeah, we did open the
You
show
coffee
on
drinkers.
coffee, and we're ending the show on coffee.
Let me
How about
wash
that?
down some Coca-Cola while I'm thinking about that.
Jacob deGrom.
Shoulder tightness?
What's new? Shoulder tightness. He gets pulled.
I've got the Mets way up there in my picks, too. Love Buck Showalter. I've got Buck in my NL manager of the year.
Missing his final spring training start, and the news is just coming down, just being reported. He will miss the season opener, and he's about to miss at least is the terminology, 4 weeks.
Y'all know I'm a Cardinal fan. You know how much I love the Cardinals. I contend, other than my favorite red hat with STL on it, I think the Mets with the orange and white, best hat in the sport.
It's a good-looking hat.
It's pretty good.
Tribute back to the Polo Grounds, back to the New York Giants. Could have done without this, and I like him, and I think he should go in someday. But how does a coach that hadn't ever won a title go into the Basketball Hall of Fame while he's still coaching? Well, that's Bob Huggins. He should go in someday with all those wins, all those good teams. But that's been reserved for Cal, for Roy Williams, Bill Self. You have to have a title to go in while you're still kind of in the arena.
How many wins does he have, though?
900.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
But no title.
I guess.
You got to save something. He's the best coach to never win a major.
900 wins does it for me. I don't know if I'd argue that much, but hey, I get your sentiment. Also, did you see the trade today? Not that I couldn't done without this, but Dodgers get Craig Kimbrell. In exchange, the White Sox get A.J. Pollock. That White Sox outfield. And also, this means the end probably for Kenley Jansen.
I've got the White Sox winning the Central again in the American League. And
White Sox outfield's about to be ridiculous. Eloy Jimenez, Luis Robert, and now A.J.
TLR
Pollock.
I trust. You know I love Don Tony.
Even in these days.
You know I love Don Tony. Yeah. My favorite baseball manager of all time. And I know Cardinal fans don't like it, but I'm a Tony La Russa guy over a Whitey Herzog guy. There's your debate in St. Louis.
I don't think a lot of Cardinal fans.
2 beats 1.
I don't think Cardinal fans would be that been out of shape.
06, 2011, over 82.
I don't think.
And I love Whitey Herzog. I don't have to run him down to buttress my guy.
There's nothing wrong with that. What we're looking forward to tonight, Suns, Grizzlies playing with the MASH.
What will those rotations look like?
They brought up
checking in number 71, Gabe Kuhn. Gabe's playing for the Grizzlies? What in the hell's going on?
They brought up Yves Pons.
Point guard Bryant Dacus from Bryant Bulldog Dacus's.
Yeah, let's get out there and make it splash.
Soft shooting lefty. Ryan out there. We can't have those rotations tonight.
Brett, what position are you going to play tonight?
I played basketball, never saw the ball go through the bucket, go through the net, ever. One time, never scored, ever.
A 3-and-D guy.
Did you play left out?
What are you talking about?
You played left out?
No, I don't know what that is.
Basketball?
I never scored.
Left out the game.
Got him.
10 NBA games tonight. Biggest playoff impact Pels at Lakers. Minnesota at Denver, pretty good. And the Final Four this weekend, and we're bracing for Tiger's touchdown in Augusta to go to his chalet. You know he's staying somewhere nice. Got chefs, got workout people, masseuses, masseurs, everybody there taking care of Tiger, getting him ready for his appearance next Thursday.
Final Four. That'll be a fun one.
Did you like my nugget? Did you like my nugget earlier? Last weekend, this weekend, with no baseball until November 5th.
I love hearing that nugget.
Gives us something to talk about. I'll tell you what. For a while, I didn't think we'd have it.
I was scared to death, Gabe. All those box scores to go through. Bring it on. Next week will be fun. This week was fun.
Also, please keep an eye on this Facebook TikTok battle. Did you see this, by the way? Facebook hired a GOP consulting firm called Targeted Victory to try to wipe out TikTok. They're trying to wipe out TikTok, saying it's bad for the children.
That's ugly.
It is bad for the children.
So TikTok and Facebook are having a Twitter battle.
Yes.
I love it.
That's all we have
2022,
for today
man.
And the week. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to Alan Bell, Bruce Marshall, Drew Barrett, and Brian Geltzeiler for their contributions to the program. For Brett, for Brian, I'm Gabe. Enjoy your night, your weekend, the Final Four, and be safe. We'll holler at you Monday.
I know the sweetest thing in Memphis, and I know it's been around for 120 years. You know, I'm talking about Dinstall's, and it's time to stock up heavy on Cashew Crunch, Heavenly Crunch, Turtlettes, all of your favorite Dinstall's treats to watch the playoff games and to watch all the basketball. It's so easy to get. The sweetest thing in Memphis, all you have to do is head to Laurelwood or head to Germantown and Poplar right across from the hospital, or go where they make the candies. That's on Pleasant View. There's nothing that says Memphis better than Cashew Crunch with that little tinge of coconut, or the Turtlettes. Let's face it, there's nothing better than Dinstall's chocolate. That's the mainstay of all candies, isn't it? Milk, chocolate, although their dark chocolate is pretty darn good. And if you get the peppermint with the dark chocolate and put it in the freezer, you're going to love it. So many ways to love Dinstall's. 115 years of making Memphis oh so sweet.
And we're in the middle of reporting the news.
I need to try it first.
Ole Miss Baseball returns after a word from your local station. This is the Ole Miss Sports Network from Learfield.
These are the sounds of a dinner. A dinner that almost didn't happen. A dinner now served, thanks to people like you. Due to COVID-19, 17 million more Americans may face hunger. Feeding America is helping our neighbors in need. And if you're able, you can too. Donations are being accepted at feedingamerica.org/coronavirus. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
It's time for today's STEM tip. Okay, you know recycling is important.